Hello trainers all around the world, welcome back to Pokémon UNITE Asia Champions League of the Indian region. Last 2 days I'm pretty sure you would have had fun on East Asia as well as Southeast Asia, but it's time for India region's last day of stage 1, that is the league stage where every team is playing round robin. To start things off, my name is Lucifer. Along with me is joining Mrudul. We are going to be taking a look at what's going to be happening on the last day. And Mrudul, I want to get an idea about what you are expecting because it can be a chaotic day as well.
Well, for the stage 1, it has been a great journey of 3 weeks, right, Lucifer? We have seen some amazing performances coming up from these 5 teams we always have talked about. True Rippers, SATUL, Marcos, Revenant, God's Reign, all of the 5 teams qualifying from the region, and now they have a chance to be there in the stage 2. For now, as we know, in the stage 1, they have represented themselves, they are done with their points, but I'm all excited for them to actually perform in the stage 2 and get the best seed that they can.
Let's hope they get it, because today is going to be the last day for all the efforts, at least in the seed position. But in terms of details, there's a link right below, copy it, and you'll get more details about what is happening in the tournament. And you can expect the other teams eventually meeting the other region teams to fight against them. But as you said, every team right as of now is looking forward to being the top 2 teams to qualify where? To the battle arena all the way at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. That's where Indian region, East Asia and Southeast Asia will eventually meet. Right as now you can see the overall positioning of how teams had kind of played. In WCS 2022, Revenant represented India, and in India Open 2022 became the champions was God's Reign. In India 2020 Open, it's going to be SATUL on the 3rd position. In the 4th, it came Marcos. True Rippers, unfortunately, I wanted to see them as well playing in the LAN, but they did come in the 5th position, so we ended up seeing 4 teams. But again, Revenant also having a representation when they were in the WCS 2022. I'm looking forward to them doing something amazing, and I'm pretty sure their fans will also be looking forward to Revenant being one of the teams who head on to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Because we did have also fun trivias where a couple of players wanted to have a vacation in different places. But again, we will talk about that when we come to the trivia phase. But one thing that our viewers need to know, eventually when we go to the league table as well, you will see that one of the teams today will not have a match, or maybe we will tell you why. But to at least fill the blanks right now, it's going to be True Rippers, who do not have a chance, at least at the moment, to play a match today because they've already played 4 teams. We'll be coming back to the entire teams, but right as of now, it's not just the Indian region. As we said, 5 teams. It's 5 teams from Southeast Asia as well as the East Asia. So it's a total of 15 amazing teams consisting of 5 players each in every team, or 5 trainers to be correct.
Well, yes, exactly. When we talk about 5 teams from the East Asia, those are going to be Eternity, High 5, No Show, Secret Ship, and T2. From Southeast Asia, we have Escape 5, MBS, Renaissance, Rise, and Secret Rare. And from the Indian region, we have God's Reign, Marcos Gaming, Revenant Esports, SATUL, and Team True Rippers. So these are going to be the 15 teams when you actually talk about the regions. But now we move forward to the tournament schedule. Yes, we are in the final week of the first stage, where we talk about these teams. Yes, it's going to be SATUL versus Marcos Gaming as the first game. Then we have the second game as Revenant Esports going against God's Reign. And as you talked about, right, so for now we don't have a match for True Rippers. They have already played against all of the 4 teams that they compete against, but as they're still sticking on 7 points. So if another team, for to be actually correct about it, if another team like Revenant lands around it, so they would have to fight, go for a tiebreaker. Talking about the tournament format here, yes, beginning from the very online league stage, that is between 3 regions, we have 15 teams. Then for the second stage, we'll be having the playoff stage, where we have 3 regions and 15 teams. And at last, 2 teams from each region will be representing themselves in the Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia land.
I'm super excited to see in the offline ends of it who are the 2 teams from the Indian region. Yes, East Asia and Southeast Asia have been watching some of the amazing as well as tough teams, tough matches have been going on in that side. But I don't know who's going to be walking away as the Asia Champion League's champion. Let's wait and watch, but before that, for all our viewers, for every region initially, in the first stage, as we said, there is no elimination, therefore teams do not have to be worried about position. But in the second stage, there is also selection and elimination. Now, first two teams will qualify to the grand finals, but in the meantime, it's going to be the prizes also the first two teams will be getting is $5,000 and $2,500. But the team coming in the third place, become the second runner-up, is going to be getting $1,000, but this is all in the second stage. But talking about the prize in the finals, it's going to be $30,000 for a team crowning themselves as the masters, right? Getting themselves the title of becoming the ultimate Pokemon trainer in the Asia Champions League will be getting $30,000. Second coming is going to be $15,000, and the third team is going to be getting $7,500. But quickly, before we kind of get into the match itself, for all the viewers after a week maybe not utilized to it, get back to the tournament rules. Starting it off, it's going to be Thea Sky Ruins itself and a 10-minute match time.
And indeed we talk about items, there's going to be no limits or on each of the things that we are going to see. Pokemon, no restrictions. The Pokemon that are available in the draft mode. Then you got Pokemon support medals, no limits and no rarity limit on it also. The draft mode, as we talk about, yes, there are going to be one bans from each of the sides. Then Pokemon's getting picked up on either of the sides. Then we have the final preparations phase where you will be opting out on what Pokemon you'll be switching between yourselves. So this is going to be the simple draft mode we have always talked about until now, Lucifer. But again, as we talk about these teams, the two matches that are going to be played today, those are going to be really important for all of these teams, because today is the last day before we actually move to the next week where we'll have the stage 2.
Right now, see, we've seen that there has been a patch as well. We will talk about it as we go to the preparation phase, give you more idea into it, because that was a crucial patch. There has been a lot of changes because of which I would say the meta would kind of little bit shift. But quickly before we get there, we'll take a quick look on the highlights of the last week.
원래 100점 넣고
뒷문을 열어버려요.
그러면 여기서 노쇼는 살아있는 게 중요해요.
그렇죠.
살아있는 게 중요한데 오히려 잡는다면 이건 대형 사고죠. 에페가 잡았고 이거 카이팅 당하는데요 지금.
에스코의 등장.
길가르다가 뒤쪽 갈래면서 이건 진영 깨지는 것 같습니다.
에스코의 완벽한 스라카 움직임을 보여줍니다.
过头了，快点要跑去哪？这个时候不是应该赶快开吗？哎，BKD 的位置不是特别好，幸福蛋直接飞过来救他，看能不能把他补起来，一直补，还差那么一点点，只有顶住了吗？顶不住，有换掉一个，勉勉强强还行。BKD 还在输出，真的换住了，幸福蛋没倒，幸福蛋护驾成功，哇，太神了！
So,
Are they gonna get it?
I think in this match, right side.
Five's got it.
Doesn't really matter though. That's the question. Like, do they do enough damage? Because look at this. Like, if you're MYS, maybe you just turn and go onto Escape 5 side of the map.
They're just gonna go all the way to the back. I think this business room might just be able to put in enough points, 100, but they still need a little bit
Black
more than
light.
50.
Oh.
It got cancelled. They're just extending all the way out just to hope that Renaissance doesn't extend their points and they will still get their hands on Blissey.
Yeah, they do get the knock in the back lines, but I just don't think it matters at this point. Eeyore does not do enough damage to threaten Renaissance. They're just so tanky, so strong. And watch this. What?
Okay.
Players from True Rippers are there. Things can go vary. Rayquaza is also being hurt right now and being knocked out. In the meantime, Might finds 2 KO streak. Make it a 3rd KO streak. Can he take away his position with the block, gets pushed right into the mid, but he uses his Unite. Another Unite I think did get used, but a Unite coming in from wall finds value, eliminates the slow bro, and now Swifty trying to make use of his own, but a brilliant play coming in from...
엄청나긴 하네요. 근데 우라우스 기가 묶여가지고 지금 기동력 좀 아쉽거든요.
자, 잔디가 계속 힐을 넣어줘야죠.
이러면서 계속 채워주고
S4엘 위험합니다.
바닥배가 살짝 끌었고 와 이거를 컨트롤 싸움에서 에스포일이 리드했어요.
It has been a tiring week for all the 15 teams in the last week. They've been trying their best to qualify. Again, as we said, this first stage will decide a chance for one of the teams from every region to directly qualify to the Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia land. And there have been some amazing teams who have been doing that. Right as now, today will decide which that team will be from the Indian region. East Asia and Southeast Asia have, yes, completed their week 5. This is going to be week 5 of Pokémon UNITE Asia Champions League for India region, the last week of the league stage. And let's see what the teams will be doing. But I want to ask you, Mridul, because we did talk about there can be situations of ties coming through. So do you think it's going to be a hectic day today?
Indeed, well, we actually talk about some tie situations that are going to come our way. We are really keen about that, but before that, we also need to talk about the patch notes. We have some buffs incoming for some Pokemons where we have a buff and a nerf. What Urshifu?
I do want to talk about this. We've seen Urshifu being used a lot for secures coming through, and therefore this buff and nerf was indeed needed, and therefore especially the Wicked Blow, the fighting move setup that many of the players were using has been nerfed right as now. So the Wicked Blow coming through is going to be something, a move which will not be selected. Many of them will start switching to the Surging Strikes, but coming on the top on the buff especially scenario, we have 3 Pokemons, Dragonite, Hoopa as well as Cliffable. So therefore the Pokemon Cliffable, which was not seen in the meta, along with Hoopa as well in the recent times, because it was only Blissey and Elagos along with Mime coming through. This Cliffable's buff along with Hoopa has been, and I would say, an instant pick for a lot of these teams because of the Moonlight coming through, as well as the Hyperspace Hole, the advantage that was there. But quickly talking about the nerf as well, of which was very impactful, we've been seeing, right, Scyther has been a very menacing Pokemon throughout. With the Slice and Dice coming through, they needed to make sure that is adjusted. Along with that Mime, I've seen a lot of, I would say, Mime players coming in, going a little bit solo, and even finding a lot of chaos, which many of them were not happy about. But we'll quickly talk about how the matches are going to unfold as we proceed. Right as now, to start things off, we can see there is SATL versus Marcos Gaming. That is going to be day number 5, that is today, and then we are going to be heading to God's Reign and Revenant being the second match, and then the day 6 will be decided based on today's standings. And that's where we said in the second stage all the 5 teams are still there, but their positions and when they will play the match will be decided based on their victories and losses today.
Correct. Well, exactly, and that's how they'll be actually, playing against each other. But when you actually talk about today's matches, SATL going against Marcos Gaming, then you have God's Reign going against Revenant Esports. God's Reign, for now, as we know, they have lost all of their matches. So again, they actually need to, gain some points, even if they are going to be on the 5th or 4th seed. What they're aiming for is that even if they're qualifying with the 5th seed, they are qualifying to the finale. Indeed, first stage was not good for them. To talk about today's matches, yes, we are going to see a match between Revenant and God's Reign, whereas you have SATL against Marcos Gaming. For now, on the first position, it is going to be Marcos Gaming, but it's not for True Rippers. They are, indeed going to tie up with the 3rd or the 4th one because they're already done with their matches. But let's see what happens at the end. We want to know who are going to be the seeds as they are going to prevail in the next stage.
There's one thing that I'm pretty sure our viewers are wondering. Yes, there is a team at 9 points, then there is a team at 6 points. Then there's Revenant who are sitting at 4, whereas True Rippers who don't have any match at all, they are sitting at 7 points. So Revenant, if they win their match today, they'll tie it up with True Rippers. So there is a problem, there'll be a tiebreaker there. Then coming to the second match, if SATL win, they'll tie it up with Marcos. So we'll wait and watch of how it's going to be working. But as of now, the rankings in front of your screen, first is going to be Marcos Gaming, second True Rippers with 7 points, third is going to be SATL with 6 points, 4th is going to be Revenant Esports with 4 points, and 5th, yes, it's not been a great run for them yet, but I'm pretty sure Godzin has been seen them in the India Open. They'll be coming back very soon. 5th position, 0 points, but I'm hoping and I'm pretty sure their fans are also looking forward to their comeback.
Indeed, and when True Rippers, how they got a fifth position in the India Open, did not qualify for the LAN, and now they are in the top two of this region.
Oh,
So
yeah.
again, great
started the
work from their
tournament.
side. Indeed, a smart work and the hard work they have put into their game. That is actually, going to excel up for them. Well, again, some more ties going to happen today as we are going to proceed with the second stage from the next week. But for now, I'm really excited for the next two matches that are going to be in front of us.
As you said, True Rippers, they've started Asia Champions League on high gear. I mean,
Yeah.
many of them would have thought like True Rippers, it should have been a little bit of an easy run to take them down, but started off really great. And then to even make the odds a little bit even, Marcos also swooped in. They also performed phenomenal. You can see they've played 3 games, all 3 victories, whereas True Rippers have played 4 games, 2 victories and 2 losses. But again, you might be wondering why they have 7 points. It's because in one match, of all the 3 rounds played, they at least got 1 round in their favor, 1 game at least, and therefore 1 point is what they have received. A similar thing that could have been explained for SATL if that did happen, it actually did. Quickly talking about SATL's position, right now you did see they're sitting in the 3rd place. As we started it off, they did take a loss against Revenant, which was not great, but then that was week number 2, that is represented as day 2. They fought against God's Reign, which did work out in their favor. It was a clean sweep, and day 3 they did not have much. They got a chance to rest, and not just that, to figure out what went wrong against Revenant and do better, and that's why they came out swinging, got another clean sweep against True Rippers on week 4, and now we are stepping into week 5. Have SATL covered all grounds, Mridul, is going to be crucial to watch out today.
Oh, well, exactly. And right now, when they're going to have the last of their match, standing at the 6th position, they also want to know that if they actually win it by a clean sweep, they'll be tied up with Marcos, and then they'll have a chance to actually be at the 1st seed. Yes, for the second stage, they are going to be placed according to the seed. So the next week, we will have a match between, the 4th and the 5th seed. Then we are also going to have, a winner match between the 3rd seed and the winner of the 4th and the 5th seed.
I'm pretty sure the viewers just saw a quick glimpse of how right now this is week 5 or day 5. Then we are going to be seeing day 6. That's going to be the next weekend, and then day 7, the weekend following that. That's how this is going to be planned. And as we said, today is going to be the rankings. Based on those rankings, all the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th UC positions, they'll be placed. But as I said, the team getting the 1st seed will be jumping right to the grand finals, which is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. But quickly, we did talk about the tiebreakers here. If you see, if teams have the same in terms of the positions, there'll be a tiebreaker coming in where they'll be playing a best of 1 to get their proper positionings. But if there's a tiebreaker between 3 teams, you can see what's going to be happening. The team number 2 and team number 3 is going to be getting a BO1 first, and after that the winner is going to be fighting with team number 1, and eventually it will be decided who is going to be breaking the record and getting the position better. Now again, viewers will be a little bit confused when this tiebreaker between 3 teams is going to happen compared to the tiebreaker between 2 teams. It's easy, right? If it's like 2nd and 3rd position, whichever team wins, it's going to be getting the 2nd position. Whichever team loses is the 3rd position. But between 3 teams, the team losing first will get the 3rd position or the 4th position, depending on how the overall standing ties is going to happen. And the team which is going to be losing in the winner match versus the team number 1 match will eventually get the 2nd position, and the winner will be similarly crowned to the first tiebreaker between 2 teams as getting the better seed of all the other 2 teams, or in total the 3 teams. So that's how it's going to be playing. I hope if you had doubts, it's cleared. If not, eventually when the tie happens, you will get to know. So let's go with the flow.
It's going to be more easier when we go with the flow and actually witness the matches that are going to come. So as far as we are going to have our results, SATL winning, Marcos winning, these are the 2 teams who are actually, one of the top contenders for the 1st seed, right? Where SATL, if they win this one, they're going to be at the top, and Marcos, if they lose, they are going to stay stagnant. So that is for sure going to be a tiebreaker that we can see amongst their points. For now, talking about these lineups, Marcos having Curem, Meruem, Rex, Snowy, and Volk. For the side of SATL, you have got Cursed, Ghoul, Might, Prod, and Tensei. So yes, these are the 5 trainers as we talk about going to land in the arena, and then it's all about what they do inside the arena. Perfect choices. We have seen some nerfs and buffs also incoming, Lucifer. So again, the trainers are going to be different with their choices. Let's talk about a bit of a trivia coming from the side of Volk. So, some hobbies he has got is going to be collecting Pokemon cards, and then his good luck meal is protein shake. So again, a gym guy indeed.
I kind of relate with Volk. I mean, huge Pokemon card collection fanatic, even though I was. Right now, I mean, as I grew up, did eventually play Pokemon, but I don't know where those Pokemon cards have landed. I'm not even too sure where I can find it now. I have
The
to dig
cupboards
into
for
all my
sure.
attics.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't take him for to be a gym guy. But yeah, I would love to see it. But as you saw, his main choice of Pokemon are ranged attackers. But quickly talking about Ghoul as well, who loves to play ranged attacker. You've seen him. But in terms of his trivia, pizza before matches, I think there's already been a delivery. I need to ask which, from where he likes, but also believes in magic. Oh, maybe I should pull a rabbit out of my hat as well and show him once when I meet him.
Indeed, and magic power is all that we need when we actually are in the real world, where we'll have a lot of problems. But again, Ghoul, pizza before matches. I hope I also get a pizza from his side, Consemi Ghoul, and I'm really, excited to actually witness the game between Marcos and SCTUL. It's been, it's between the top contenders, as I've already said. And again, when they're actually going to play today, it's going to be a neck-to-neck battle. Ah, oh yeah, it is going to actually roll over for a longer time period. But again, if SATUL manages to finish it by a clean sweep, it is then that they'll have a clean sweep or not.
Yeah, it's going to be looked out for right now. An interesting, I would say, matchup between SATUL as well as Marcos. SATUL win. They're going to be getting a chance to clash in with Marcos in terms of the points, and that's the first time you're going to be seeing. But if that doesn't happen, Marcos, easy peasy, they qualify into the grand finals as well as being the top seed, and will be flying down to Malaysia. Now again, many of you would be thinking, why am I saying grand finals? In the second stage there is finals, to then get an idea about who's the first and the second seed for the India region, as they'll be flying out to Malaysia, and that is the finals. Other than that, the actual finals, the Malaysia is the LAN. But right as now, let's see if it's going to be SATUL or Marcos. There is a chance that we might end up seeing Marcos still qualify if this best of 3 becomes a best of 3, because they will eventually end up getting 1 point at least if Marcos lose. But on the other end, if this happens to SATUL, there can be a 3-way tiebreaker as we're speaking. There's already True Rippers with 7 points. Revenant win their match, they'll come to 7 points, and there's SATUL already sitting at 7 points, and then you see your 3-way tiebreaker coming through. So an interesting day today, and I'm really hyped up for that one reason, to just see some ties happening. But nonetheless, I want to ask you, what do you think is going to happen? Now, previous week we saw SATUL had a good run. They defeated True Rippers. Marcos on the other end also defeated Revenant. So do you think Marcos has upper hand or SATUL to start this game off?
Well, I think in the highlights we also saw how SATUL was so good. So again, I'm keen to see that if they're going to use it after it has got a nerf. But leaving all things aside, we're already switching ourselves to the Marcos versus SATUL match, the first match for the day. We are now live with the ban phase, where we have Rex, Curem, Meruem, Volk, and Snowy. On the purple side, on the orange side, you have got Rod, Might, Tencent, Ghoul, and Cursed. The battle arena, TS Sky Ruins, more 5 seconds, and then we'll have the bans. Lucifer, quick, your choices.
I think it's Cliffable and Hoopa. Okay, at least I'm right on one as a spot. And as well as you said, there might be a choice of where we think Scyther or not. But Marcos says, let's not give Might a chance of using that Scyther, because Might has been deadly in the recent times. But having Urshifu still available, as we did see, there has been buffs and nerfs coming through. I said, the fighting moves have been kind of nerfed, and it's going to be the water moves that we'll eventually see, the Surging Strike as well as Liquidation coming through. But at least Urshifu has gone that end. SATUL have decided we want some range as well as a easier healing coming through with Prod, who can send players to the base. They've picked up Hoopa and Mew.
Yeah. Why not to pick a Hoopa after that buff, right? And they'll be having the Mew, so some good, beams are also going to land in front of us. Oh, we also have Volk going in for a Dodrio. So indeed, I'm going to be really excited. Whereas the Snorlax still lands around the meta. Yes, Rex has already logged in. And on the other side, you have Tensai going in with a Slowbro.
And then Might with a Buzzwall.
Oh.
That's going to hurt. He has been a menace with a Buzzwall. I mean, yes, The
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah.
does not have a lot of movability around, but whenever connects the move, it is deadly. It does drain a lot of HP of their opponent Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
But Kyurem, seeing that nobody has picked up the Blissey, he's like, I want a healer for my team because as of now I do not have any.
Ah,
And
for
then
sure.
Murem goes for having Delphox because on the other end Ghoul did pick up the Mew, so no availability of that. But Volk, a wise choice. Understanding that Dodrio was left out, he immediately grabbed it. And Ghoul, we did talk about, he's also one of the range attackers. He
Correct.
did have that Mew initially to just deny Marcos from getting it, but finally will exchange that Mew to Cursed, and Cursed will give his Cramorant.
Oh, we do have some, choices coming in, whereas Ghoul now actually goes in for a different choice. Yes, a Cramorant lands in, and it's time that we begin with the very first game. SA12 versus Marcos. SA12, if you win this one, you either go in a 3-way tiebreaker, whereas Revenant also has to win their one, or it's going to be Marcos winning it all out and get their tickets booked to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Let's go! Marcos versus SHUL to fight one end to qualify, becoming the first seed, on the other end to get another chance to try and maybe get the better seeding. As of now, SHUL are sitting at the third. In this initial early minutes, right, teams will go for early goals as well as trying to annoy in right now the mid lane, but that is not being seen. Generally we expect Rex to go to the mid lane and then annoy the opposite end, that's going to be SHUL, but both the ends they're letting their mid laners get those buffs and no kind of annoyance or steal happening as of now.
Oh well, see them. They're actually, already starting off with some great movesets. Yeah. Things will be done, and points being added. SCTL has already reached to the streak of 35 points, and points being added. Cramorant actually adds more 7 points for the team.
Early lead in terms of the score, it is SHL 35. Again, we see and know them for getting a lot of scores in. But Marcos, they go in heavy. They try to fight it out. Ooh, barely Volk survives. He's still a Dodio. He needs to evolve to a Dodio. A Solar Beam hits. And this is why we are worried always when a team has a Mew and he having the great idea, targeting the Pokemon who's super low, gets one knockout. Marcos did get the score closer, but it's not going to be enough. Still early stages. Levels need to be getting closer. A better level is right now with Might, who's at level 6. If he gets a lot more chaos, this Buzzwall is going to be becoming super strong. But Snowy and Volk decide we need to cause some trouble at the end of SHUL. Take down the Slowbro.
Well, a lot of damage being tanked down by the side of Marcos. They're actually able to cover it up and landing back to it. The Dodio comes in. The evolution has already happened, whereas now Marcos will be taking in the lead. So the first 2 minutes, actually, 2 minutes get over, and with this very first stretch, now it's time. In 1 minute we'll be seeing the Regis coming in, whereas it's kind of a tackle at the legendary pit happening. Some more points being gathered up, some more Eos energy being gathered up. Okay, here he goes. The Slowbro will be adding 6 more points for SHUL.
Again, SHUL, yes, concentrating on scores, but I want to wonder what's going to happen next, because in the next 30 seconds we are going to be finally seeing the Regis. And teams are gearing up for that. Top lane, you can see it's a 2v2 fight. In the bottom lane also, in the bottom it's going to be a 3v2 fight. On the top it's going to be a 3v2 as well, but in the Marcos' end of 3 players. But Volk again, this time it was Snowy who was a little bit super low. I thought it was Volk, but Volk still playing in a little bit of range, gets connected with a huge Solar Beam coming in from Curse. Also falls down the Blissey, the only survivor, and the protector who's going to be Snowy. Understanding that there are 3 Pokemons, he knows he cannot fight it out, especially with Might on level 8 along with Cursed also in level 9, and he's at level 7. This is what I presume, this is what I was worried about. If SHUL keep getting knockouts, right, they'll be more than happy, they'll level up. They're also getting the wild Pokemons, and look at how quickly SHUL are jumping on the Regi on the bottom. They should be getting the Regirock without any problem, as yes, Cursed closes it in his favor, and now it's all about time for the top. In the top, there's already Might, but Blissey falls down again. Their healer back to back. Marcos, they need to look forward to this. The levels are lower. Losing their healer is also not a good thing.
Oh, indeed, and Might going in for a bigger one now. SHUL is actually picking up for themselves. Well, right now, in the bottom lane, we can see that Reggie was already focused. Buzzwole actually getting a KO on Marcos and being sent back to the base. Yeah, SHUL is right now up for a domination from their side. Up in top lane, they're also going to get the Regiliki for themselves. Meanwhile, they're already looking real strong in this game.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm worried for Marcos because majority of the players from SATL are up close to level 10. And look at them, the amount of map control they are. They've entered the mid lane of Marcos and trying to steal away their buffs. And Marcos understand there is fear. They know they cannot kind of defend it. The Cramorant has opened its Unite. It's going to start causing trouble. Delphox has used the Unite of Fireworks. Does not still find any value. And Curse is causing so much problem. Finds a KO on Snorlax. Then Hoopa finds it on Blissey. This should tell you how impactful right now SATL players are based on their levels compared to their opposition.
The top lane getting completely vanished from the side of SATL. Both of the goalposts are now not available, whereas they have the bottom lane. So great work done from their side, and it's still 3 minutes before we actually reach the final stretch. So a great work being done from their side. A lead being picked up, but they're back at the top lane now. They actually need to be aware. Oh no, it's stuck, and there he goes. A struggle also coming in from the side of Marcos Gaming. Even if they were able to reach the goalposts of SATL, Buzzwole will be stopping them as soon as possible.
Volk needs to run away. If he gets connected with Might's move, it's going to cause trouble, but thankfully he does have his agility. He will be able to run away. Right as now, the bottom Reggie has again spawned. SATL were waiting and watching for Marcos to start it off, and as Marcos were going in, you can see the damage coming in. Making sure with Serve they do a lot more damage. With the Solar Beam, send them even further back. And the Cramorant is also there to make sure that they don't get closer. But the Mystical Fire trying to do damage to the Slowbro. Again cursed with a mighty Solar Beam coming through, trying to do damage. Tencent was about to go down. Uses his Unite. Dodrio swoops in. Take down Might right now. Therefore they have some at least control in the top lane. While this bottom lane fight, I'm not too sure where it's heading. Urshifu had the Unite. The Savior Eggs coming in from Blissey, the Unite which was used, but still it did not work out. Snowy was still KO'd from none other than Curse, this little puny Mew. That's got to hurt here, Mridul. That's got to hurt for the side of Marcos.
Oh well, we are going to see that Marcos would actually land around a lot of damage to SATL, but again, being sent back to the base back to back, whereas most of SATL has already crossed the level 10, we are still going to see that, the Snorlax is also not at level 10. So the work needs to be done pretty fast, whereas SATL is not gonna stop. Look at that. Now Volk would be adding some amount of point for the team, but they're just at 167. We're already approaching the last 2 minutes of this game. Volk here at the goal post. Top lane needs to be secured.
It's not going to be the top lane, it's going to be Volk who's going to be securing himself a KO. On the other hand, at least he bought time for his teammates so that they could secure the Regieleki for themselves. Thankful and happy is going to be Volk, even though he gave away his Pokemon's life over there, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be like, we got a Regieleki, so we are back in the game. Because until now, SATL have been commanding, Mridul, in terms of the overall goals that have been done.
Agreed.
243 to 169. Now they have a chance to push themselves a chance further because they have also destroyed 2 of the goal zones. One on bottom, one on top. But on the other end, Marcos have 2 goal zones which they have lost at the complete top end. As you said, it's vanished.
Yeah, it is going to be, vanished as we see. But again, as we move forward in this game, the last 30 seconds before the Rayquaza arrives, and when we're actually going to see, it's now a silence in the mid lane. All of them are waiting for the Unite moves to pop in. Oh yes, they'll be having the Unite moves, and now it's a battle. It's a battle that is going to begin. Cursed, ready, prod, ready. Everyone is all set, and here you go. The attacks have already begun.
Rayquaza, the legendary Pokemon, the boss Pokemon, is going to be here. Let's wait and watch who's going to start things off. Marcos are the ones that SATL are expecting to start things off. Rex swoops in, but the Solar Beam, it's doing a lot of damage. The ranged basic attack as well, the boosted ranged basic attack is doing damage. Block was good, but again it's a Slowbro, therefore it has a chance. And then the Hoopa swings in with a Hyperspace Hole. Full heal, Tensai is back in, nothing to be worried about, but Curse also gets hit with a deadly one in terms of the Mystical Fire. But he's level 14 and the Delphox is just level 13, 1 level better. Snowy tried to kind of find a KO on that Mew, did not work out because they know The Mew is super crucial. If they take that Mew down, then there is no range support coming through. The Dodrio tried his best with the drill peg, did not work out. Mew comes in with the solar beam, finishes it off. Hoopa pops off the Unite. Delphox also uses Unite, but right now Snowy chasing, making sure he finds a KO on this. But if he does not connect his last move, it's going to be tough. He uses the air. Oh no! Finally gets that last hit, and therefore the KO follows along with Hoopa going out. There was another one that they wanted to find one, but this is just them buying time because Volk is also back in action. The Dodrio that they lost will be here, but in the meantime the scores have been equalized, but Snowy goes down. The all-rounder has been taken down. Now they have to again waste time, but they have only 40 seconds on the clock, Mridul.
Well, again, look at that. The scores being equalized. 40 seconds remaining. No chance to actually conquer upon that Rayquaza. Whereas Marcos is busy doing that with a single Delphox. Okay, some attacks coming in. The Cramorant having the Unite. It's actually looking more in the favor of SATUL. But no! Marcos will actually be able to take the lead now. There are 289. Already able to secure the Rayquaza. Oh, it's SATUL. Fully securing the side of Rayquaza, they would be able to get it. Now it's only 10 seconds remaining. They have the points with them. They have the Rayquaza shields. All they need to do is be at the goal post. And they've got the match.
This is why I was worried.
Oh, the last second.
Last 15 seconds is where they lost the Rayquaza, and Marcos, who had just gotten the lead, lost it.
Marcos actually had a lead. All they needed to do was actually
deny Rayquaza.
Not allow SATUL to get that Rayquaza. Deny the Rayquaza, as you have already said it, and defense at the perfection. A great work done from their side on the attack. They were always and always, damage causing against SATUL. Talk about SATUL. We saw some great performances, but Urshifu going against Hoopa, that was definitely, a better fight, to be honest, where I saw that 1v1, and that was the most important one actually.
There's one thing I would touch up on the topic, but before that, look at the assists coming in from SATUL. They played as a team together. Prod with 11 assists, Tensai with 10, Cursed with 8 knockouts as well as 8 assists. That should tell you he has done so much. Ghoul with 6 knockouts as well as 6 assists. On the other end, look at Marcos, Murem, Curem and Rex. All the three not even having assists, not even having any KOs. That tells you that they tried their best, but it was not at all enough. And as you said, right, Snowy taking on Prod, Hoopa and Urshifu, that fight shouldn't have happened. Prod should have been let gone. Understanding Snowy that it's a Unite, if he gets a takedown, he will get a chance to, I would say, send up more players back home. But that did not happen. Snowy had to, just like how we see Hoopa or Buzzwall, who's a little bit slow, how they move around. Snowy is the same thing when he comes to the all round, and therefore his movement was a little slow, and before he could reunite with his teammates, Cursed found him along with Ghoul, making use of the range. They KO'd him as well. So I think Marcos, Snowy, if he'd stuck together with his teammates, they might have secured the Rayquaza, or they could have even denied it further by finding many other KOs on SATUL players.
Oh, well, right. You're actually, too accurate about that, Lucifer. But when we are actually going to see this scoreline between SATUL and Marcos, till the very end, that was a great cover-up by Marcos, I would say, when we reached the last of the minutes. But getting the Rayquaza is where they lost the game. And in the last 15 seconds, where we saw they were able to reach the goalpost in the last 3 seconds. So again, it was a real close match, where we at last saw SATUL covering it all up for themselves. Yes, they won the first game. And at last winning the first game, they've already tied with True Rippers on the points.
With this, whether they right now win or lose, I'm not too sure. They should be okay on how the next one will unfold, right? Like whether they get 7 points or not, whether they'll be closing it on 9 points or not will be something that we have to be looking at. But look at Marcos's end. It was only one person scoring, that was Volk, throughout the game. I think there should have been the other teammates also contributing, but I was worried. Having Volk on, I would say, the Dodrio, not the ranged attacker, maybe caused the problem, because you could see the mid laning that came in from Mew, which was not annoyed, got a chance to level up very earlier, along with Might also finding a couple of KOs. Might also leveled up better than Marcos's players, and that level differentiation was clearly seen. In all team fights, it was always SATUL reigning better.
Yeah, indeed. And when we actually saw, a pause for SATUL between the time stretch of 6 and 8 minutes, it was no point, getting drained out for them. So they were all set, focusing more on getting the Unite moves ready and set. And when it came about the last 2 minutes, they used out on the perfect timings that they had to. So great work done from the trainers from the side of SATUL. Now that they have got a one game in their hand, at last, if they finish, as a clean sweep, they'll be tied with the Marcos.
Let's wait and watch how it's going to be. Marcos, can they find their way in? Can they find a way to get back into the game? Because at least game 1, they've lost. There are 2 more games. If game 2 goes in the favor of Marcos, or it's going to be SATUL's clean sweep. Again, going back to previous week's track record, yes, they got a clean sweep, but Marcos, we have seen them. They've gotten better, they've adapted. And also, I feel like how Marcos play, right? They hide a couple of things. And when we talked to Volk, right, in the previous week, he said, wait and watch what we are going to be trying to do. So, something to be worried about. But in the highlights only, you can see a clear difference coming in. Mew was always a level better, and therefore using that ranged attack solar beam coming through at all points, and in certain situations when the Mew was a little bit in close range, also move reset it to the electro ball coming through. So quick utilization and mindset of where they were, what they could do, was also something that Cursed had a complete idea of. And look at how well they, like, it is not even how well, I would say. They didn't even care for a Unite that came out from Del Fox.
Yeah. Indeed, and we saw some amount of performances also coming in from the side of SATUL. Also focusing on getting those Regis and, getting the special attack power, special defense power for their side. SATUL was always up for it. So, in the highlights, in the replay, we also see that SATUL, Marcos actually tied up in the last minute. But again, it was SATUL who won in the last 15 seconds. Getting that Rayquaza is what they had in the history. But again, things are yet to be written. Again, 2 more games remaining, or either only one, you do not know. But for that, we actually need to go for the next game. Yes, this is going to be the very Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League, where we're witnessing the week 5 matches. 2 matches for the day could be converted into 4 matches for the day or 3 matches for the day. Well, that is all about if we are going to see the tiebreakers or not.
Yeah, I think at least one tiebreaker might be the case today, because again, this is just speculation. But looking at how this is going, I feel like it might just go a little bit back and forth. Now again, if SATUL win, but before that Marcos get the second game, right now that we are talking about, and do not let SATUL get a clean sweep, they will still qualify, and there will be no tie between SATUL as well as Marcos, because Marcos will get at least 1 point. So therefore, SATUL need to watch out if they want to tie it out and then go for another BO1 against them as a tiebreaker and deny them. And in the best of one, it's a pressurized situation. And putting in context here, Mrudul, Marcos are already in a situation of a best of one, because right now it's a do or die game or round for them in this first match. If they don't get this game 2 or round 2, they're done for. At least they'll have a clean sweep. They'll feel a little bit bad, but they still stand a chance to still be the first seed of India region.
To come back and actually have a revenge against SATUL, that is, I think, Marcos will think, even after they have lost today. But again, they still haven't lost. We still are going to see 2 games. So speculations coming back to back in our minds. A big series of question marks actually, where many more matches are actually going to prevail in front of us. Really excited for week 2 also, the stage 2. Not for the week 2, but for the stage 2, where actually these players are going to be seeded. But before that, let's get our results corrected. We have the SATUL versus Marcos. Game number 2 for the match number 1. The ban phase in front of us. Yes, the arena is Thea Sky Ruins.
I think this time ban, again, we might not end up seeing a Buzzwole ban, because it's not a usual Pokemon that everybody is a choice pick or a play that comes through. SATUL might is one, I would say, mighty player who can do really well in any all-rounder. He can even pick up a Tyranitar. So bans might just end up being similar. And yes, it is Cliffable as well as Sizer. Marcos still denying might that Sizer. Even though there has been enough, they're like, let's not risk it. But on the other hand, I want to see Marcos what they pick up. Do they get a Hoopa this time, making sure, or Mew? Oh yeah, I was a little bit worried. And Murem quickly picks it up. He understands that Cursed should not be given the chance, or the entire squad of SATUL should not be given a chance to get this. And Tensai, he's like, okay, there's no lags and we have Hoopa. We are going to quickly pick it up.
Oh well, actually, and there you go. The bans are going to be similar right now. Well, again, Merwem going in for a Mew. They saw of how much damage it can be to them. So again, a good choice coming in from their side, I must say.
Brother-
Snowy going in for a Dodrio. Yes, Lucifer.
I have a question here. Look at this. Marcos in the previous game as well picked up Dodrio.
Uh-huh.
Are SATL kind of baiting them into making this choice of picking up the Dodrio? The Dodrio was not valueful. In
Yeah.
scoring, yes, but as a team game, right? As soon as Volk stepped in, tried to move closer, there was always Might who held him back and pulled him and KO'd him.
Yeah.
So let's see if this is going to be a wise choice again, having the Dodrio, but Volk, ooh, okay. I was getting worried, but he's like, nah, I'm going to get back to Gardevoir, my reigning supreme queen. I have two queens in this Pokemon Unite game. One is, yes, everybody knows this arena, and then there's going to be Gardevoir.
Yeah. And Lucifer, I think he is giving you an answer. Don't be so much tense for now. I'm going to be back at my own game where I always stand strong. But again, now as we move forward to the final preparations phase, yes, we do have a Buzzwole. Okay, so now a Delphox coming in on the side of SA12. We saw a Delphox on the side of Marcos, but again, a choice has already been made. They'll be sticking to the choice of Cramorant. And now we also see some different choices coming in. Yes, we're done with the final preparations phase, and now it's time that we move forward to the game 2, a decider. Either it's going to be SA12 with a clean sweep, tying with Marcos and going to play a tiebreaker, or either it's going to be Marcos winning at least one game and finalizing themselves for the very Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
This might decide game 2 is a go. This time it's going to be still SATL on the orange, and purple we are going to be seeing Marcos. Murim this time, he's going to be making sure he is going to be the mid laner, but on the other end it is going to be this time Delphox for SATL. Again, ranged attacker, whether it's a Cramorant, whether it's going to be a Delphox, is up to them. But right now Snorlax, I want to see still trying to annoy. No, mid laners are not being annoyed so far, at least in this game. Generally we end up seeing in one of the matches that the mid laners are annoyed, the buffs are somehow stolen, my bad. But for now, again, as we always say, SATL concentrate on scoring goals, and they're already above what Marcos have been able to score.
Indeed, and look at that, already moving forward with the amount of scoreline that they have secured for themselves. Marcos now actually taking in the lead. So for the very first 4 minutes, we know that both the sides are very much capable of getting those points for themselves, putting as much as AS energy that they can. But SATL was also above Marcos in the view of evolution. And
With
look at
Tencent
that.
chasing Gardevoir.
That was a bully, I say.
I mean, I would have maybe seen the Gardevoir being a better jungle, or I'm sorry, mid laner, because could have leveled up really early, right? And that could have made a lot of impact for Marcos, where they could have had a better battles coming in. And again, look at this, Snowy, super close, but making use of his agility, will be running away. I think maybe he had a eject. I did not pay close attention to that, but Might is still thinking of chasing him. And Snowy knew, even if he tried to fight, Might will just take him up, throw him to the ground, slam him there, and just get a KO. But right now, Kyurem is that situation, but still closer to his goal zone, nothing to be worried about. Gardevoir finally, one evolution form has been reached, still not the full-fledged Gardevoir. Tensai right now is running away, trying to find payback is what Marcos are doing, but Tensai, he's trying to get the second Citrus Berry, does not work. Murim is going to be here, takes a small nap, but I think Tensai will still be KO'd, at least not on the hands of the Gardevoir, but it will be the side of Marcos. Now Marcos are trying to chase away as many players of SATL as possible, but look at this, Gardevoir is still not evoluted to the final form, whereas the Delphox has from SATL's end. And SATL are always concentrating that they level up better, they be there for their team. Ooh, because Snowy was goaling over there and was in animation, therefore superpower did not work on him. Otherwise he would have been picked up and slammed again, and we might have seen a KO.
Well, the streak goes on, Lucifer. The streak goes on about all of the strategies that you can actually move forward with. Well, here you go. SATL actually picking up the pace, and look at them. 36 points is what they have secured. Again, they've already got a game for themselves. So, need to slow down, but no need to slow down on actually getting those evolutions ASAP. Yes, one more KO coming in from the side of Buzzwole.
I mean, Snowy on Dodrio is going to be tough to fight against such an all-rounder who is a heavy slammer. But right now, it's going to be time for Regis, both on the top and on the bottom. And I'm pretty sure whenever I've seen Might playing on top, he's okay with going solo on the Regi Aliki. But right now, the fight for the Regi steal on the bottom is going super hot. Because you can see the damage is being done from Marcos where they're overextending their limits, trying to find a KO, and looks like Snowy might just find one. But before that could happen, Cramorant assisted the Delphox, therefore Cramorant is going to be making sure the Delphox survives as well. But Marcos making sure they find a way to finish and secure Registeel for their favor. And yes, they do. Mew helps out with a big solar beam coming through. Now with this, the attack is going to be boosted, but the levels, that is still a better favorable situation for SATL. So I think Marcos, they will try to get a couple of goals scored, but other than that, I'm not very, I would say, looking forward to seeing knockouts where SATL will be the ones might be finding the other way around.
Well. It looks like a slow run for both of the sides, as again they're just at 66. We're already done with the first 55 minutes. Buzzwole for sure is not going to leave around the Reggie that is available for themselves in the top lane. Yes, they'll be securing it. Oh, the Dodrio actually gets a KO on the Delphox, but the Reggie lands in. The top lane needs to be secured because SATL is once again ready to get the battle in their hands as soon as possible.
Now look at this, they have to deny Might, and what they're doing, putting a light screen on him and immediately putting a Psyshock. Did not work out, they were still able to get goals scored in because of the Regi Aliki that they had. Correct. And the first goal zone destroyed. On the other end, bottom lane fight is still happening. It's only Hoopa who's trying to hold it off because 4 players from SATL are all on top because of the hyperspace hole. Everybody shifted. Cramorant ranged attack connects directly to the Dodrio. Snowy, unfortunate, again takes up a loss. Fireworks coming through, but the Slowbro tried to survive. Not anymore. Oh, Unite being used. Kyurem along with that going in with the slaps. Egg bombs coming through, trying to find the players out. Walk, who's already on level 10, trying to fight with the level 11. And now it's going to be 3 players who are trying to eliminate. And yes, they do find the elimination on none other than the Delphox. But look at what is happening from Tensai. Using his block, pushing towards the Flux. Now Might is also here. They need to find a way to find a K on Might. But immediate Unite being used from the Mew, understanding that this fight might not be favorable, but still you can see the Psyshock coming through, doing so much damage to Might, and is unable to control it. But the Cramorant swoops in as it's back, uses the Unite, the Blissey is out, and now everybody from Marcos need to retreat.
Well. SATL now at the 126 points. A series of tags going back to back in the bottom lane, and look at that now, getting more of their focus on the Regiais. Yes, would be secured by SATL, and the attacks, the defense goes stronger and stronger. Look at that, chaos happening back to back as Buzzwole would also get a KO on the Dodrio.
Man, Tensai is annoying with this block. Rex, can he find some value? Can he survive? I think he tried to use his Unite, but it got stopped in between because of Tensai. And look at what SATL have done, understanding that they've got a couple of goals scored in. Let's just swoop back to our bases, be better for the fight, and ready. That's what they've done, and immediately Marcos understand because they've gotten closer to their goal zone. It's going to be tough for us to get a KO on those players, especially with the players being a little bit level better. 2 players are level 12 from Marcos' end as well, but they need to be playing together, push together, especially to find a KO on Might. And then I think the cards can kind of incline at least to the Marcos' end. But again, Might, as the previous time he went solo on Regieliki, this might also happen again. But Tensai, a quick hyperspace hole coming through, because of which Tensai is again going back previously the same time again. So Prod is playing phenomenally, and as I said, solo or at least some help from his teammate is going to happen. But Dodrio, whoa, Snowy steals it away, and this might be the game changer, and Might immediately falls out, and now it's a 1v1 situation against the Delphox, and that also works out. Snowy finding 2 big KO streaks along with Regieliki helping with the big 50 score to fall off. He breaks the top and the team breaks the bottom.
Well, exactly, and with that, the last of the moves would actually secure a lot of the points for the side of Marcos. Now that they have picked up the lead, getting 2 KOs, whereas it was a great moveset from the side of Snowy. Great work on the Dodrio, I must say. And with that, actually, it's the last 20 seconds before we actually land around the legendary pit. Dodrio still needs to get the Unite move all set.
I think Snowy just committed the Unite a second before to find that KO on Buzzwall, not too sure.
Correct.
But with the next 4 seconds, they want to immediately drain the health on Registeel. Get Registeel. They have the attack buff right now. SAT will understand they are on the deficit. They're trying to instigate this Rayquaza fight and start the battle between Marcos and find Chaos. Does not work out. Rex again, they're trying to hold him off with the same smudge, but with this time Psyshock comes through, the Moonblast as well. Rex was super low, Tensai was super low. He tried to use the hyperspace hole, but they denied him. Buzzwall is down again. Level 15 is going to be the Dodrio, and we were looking for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds ago that the Dodrio was also level 12, but with 2 Chaos it's already at level 14 and crossed level 15 now, and they're draining Rayquaza. Do not even give SATL a chance to get closer, and it's going to be them going in for scores and also winning the second game, and we are going to be without any, I would say, worries running to the third game.
Oh, indeed. Now that Marcos have actually picked up the lead, getting the Rayquaza is what they required. And look at that, the streak going on. Marcos, at least one game, and they have done it for themselves. Oh, what? Snowy goes in. A KO in the end, but
great try.
Great try, I must say. 50 seconds remaining. SHUL still have the points for themselves, but the defense of Marcos really difficult to break through.
Eos Energy is there, but they need to deny the scores happening. A big 50 can happen, and yes, Hoopa scores a big 50, and yes, another 150 if scored from SATUL. Marcos might lose this, but Marcos are trying to hold it off. But Kyurem, look at him, he's playing smart, understanding that SATUL are going for a 5-man bottom lane push. He's going, collecting Eos Energy, going for a push of his own, and he's getting and trying to go for a score. And oh! Tensai had a chance to deny that from happening, but it did not. A big 78 again gets scored. Marcos pushing their boundaries of goals to 400. And now I don't think SAT will even have a chance. Even if they get a chance to score 150, they will not be able to close out or survive. Another 100 was being tried from the Delphox. Gets immediately and easily denied. But yes, Delphox before going finds a 2 chaos streak. Marcos push it to the last game.
Oh, indeed. Now it's a push that has been created from the side of Marcos. 456 to 226, and we already have our first seed. Getting this victory, they'll be, even if they lose against SATUL in the third one, they still are going to be at the top. Getting at least 1 point, now they are secured with 10 points, and there's going to be no one for sure reaching their spot. But no, you still have SATUL at the second spot, and we also have a match of Revenant, where if they actually win that one, they're going to tie the True Rippers.
Brilliant play now coming through. I'm not too sure about the tie what's happening. Now I'm intrigued whether it's going to be SATUL or Marcos winning it, because how the first game and the second game completely played, right? First game was so favorable for when we saw SATUL. Second game, Marcos did seem completely favorable, but they leveled up, and especially the Regieleki steal coming in from Snowy turned the entire battleline game in the favor of Marcos. Again, you saw the chaos coming through, or the assist is not great. There are 6, there are 4, there's 5, nothing like 11, 12, double digits, a lot that we saw from SATUL previously. And the graph also evidently tells you that SATUL were better in the 2 to 8 minute stretch, but when we came closer to the 8 minute stretch, along with Regieleki that Snowy got, a big 50 was dunked, and that 50 being dunked gave Marcos the confidence. And at the same time when that happened, Volk was also evolving along with his Mew, so 2 very impactful ranged attackers put on the side shock along with the solar beam coming through, deadly. And if the Unite is also active along with the solar beam, it's just going to find numerous chaos, and that's what happened. Even though Delphox tried to use his Unite, it did not work, Brudul.
But Dodrio adding the points back to back and actually securing the points those were needed. In the end, SATUL did try their level best to actually secure the points for themselves. Hoopa actually got a plus 100 in the last of the minutes. Indeed, they tried their level best to actually be at the top. Buzzwole adding a lot to the team. We even saw in the first game that Buzzwole actually created a whole lot of space. Even if you talk about the top lane or bottom lane, the space was always and always created by Buzzwole. So great work done from SATUL side. Yes, they have lost it in the round 2, but again could actually be the winners and stay there at the 9 points. No one to beat them at the second seed.
It was a heated up and very sweaty and tough game for both the sides. Because you can see in this 5-minute mark, both the teams look okay on the level, nothing great. But I think Volk, when he started evolving, getting better, was ready with these duels and understanding it's only one player surviving, getting scored, leveling up, and also finally stealing this getting the Reggie steal for themselves, woke them up, gave them the advantage. And once Dodrio found a knockout also on the top, things just went south. I think if Delphox wouldn't have gone out from SATL, wouldn't have been KO'd so early on in the game, SATL could have survived. Maybe they had the fireworks ready as well. I think maybe it was not used early. So there were ifs and buts situation that SATL could have worked and survived. But Marcos just made this whole storyline very interesting. Where SATL, who could have tied the score. Now I'll talk about the tie that you brought in between. SATL, who could have tied the scores with Marcos. If they got a clean sweep, Marcos have denied them at least from that happening. Still SATL stand a chance to become a second seed without having, I would say, a clash with the next two teams which are going to be fighting it out. So, something to look on the positive end of the spectrum for SATL, but I'm still looking forward to how this match is going to unfold because game 1 was different, game 2 was completely different, opposite sides. It was not even a parallel line, I would call it. So, Mridul, what are your thoughts? Are the bans going to be same? Is the game going to be same?
I think I only have one thought going in my mind. SATL have this chance of getting the second seed only if they win this round against Marcos. If they do not, they'll be staying at the 6 points and they might actually become the 4th seed from the second seed. So dropping down.
They will not be at 6 points, Mridul. They will get 7. If Marcos win, they'll get 7. Because they also have one round for themselves. That's when the three-way tie will strike. The True Rippers and Revenant also when they win their match. But again, I'm not counting God's Reign out. We will talk about them when their match starts up. But right as of now, this is a very interesting standpoint. I mean, yes, both the teams will be right now thinking on the backlines like, what should we do? Will that work better? Will this work better? What is the permutation and combination? I also kind of got worried when Snowy picked up Dodrio, right? I did say, is this SATL baiting them? But Snowy is like, okay, I'll just show a better end of the spectrum where Dodrio can be played. Yes, he did get KO'd. Buzzwall was tackling him, attacking him at times, finding chaos as well. But I think he found that right sweet spot to strike back on Buzzwall and his teammate when they were taking damage from Regieliki before they could secure it. And once he stole it from them, that's where. And Reggie Steal was also something that they got. Attack Buff is also something that they got. And they were vividly happy about it. Right now, it's going to be the last game, guys. SATL versus Marcos. I'm looking forward to the bans. Will they finally do the Dodrio ban, or is it going to be SATL finally picking up Dodrio early on there for themselves to deny Marcos doing this? Let's jump to the draft phase and see the bans.
Oh, we begin with the very first chance of Marcos actually having it in their hands. Yes, they have done it right. Marcos going against SATL. It is a 1-1 score streak. And we are not going to see a clean sweep. We are going to land in the round 3. The ban phase is going to be over in like 5 seconds. And then I think it's going to be the same with the bans. Yes, it's going to be Scyther and Cliffable from either of the sides. But here you go. The big phase is now here.
Something that we don't see very, all the time. It did happen in India Open. We did usually see a Tyranitar and an Eldegoss ban coming through. But here, at least in this matchup, Marcos and SATL have stuck to one thing. But SATL this time do not want to give Mew. Quickly Ghoul locks it on. But Snowy, after what he did in the previous game, he's like, I'm ready to repeat it all over again. It's going to be SATL who need to be prepared. Kyurem, seeing a Hoopa available, he picks it up. Tensai this time with Snorlax on the game 2 did not find value. So it's going to be super crucial. Prod on the other end of Zablissy. And are we going to finally see a Dragonite today? It's going to be the first debut that might happen. Murem, you cannot keep teasing us like this. I mean, we get very excited when we see these new Pokemons which are not usually seen in the meta. But it's going to be Urshifu and then Volk confirming it on none other than the Tyranitar. And I want to see what he's going to be picking it up. Is he still going to stick on the Buzzwall? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think he is still going to stick on the Buzzwall, but no.
He's changed.
He has changed, and now an Eldegoss might come in. Okay, so some like very different choices coming in from both the sides. We also have a Machamp popping off from the side of Might.
Now, this is going to be very interesting how this game will unfold.
Mammoth
Looking at the picks, I have no idea of who I can incline to. Rex was thinking whether I should go for an Eldegoss where I want healing, or should I go for one who can take damage as well as push players closer or away from his teammates who are maybe not ready, who are very low and who need to run away. So Mammoth is going to be a good pick. Icicle Crash coming through immediately frees them up. But Might, if he finds value, he's going to be trying to do a lot damage. You can see he had the Razor Claw weakness policy as well as attack weight coming through. So I'm a little bit worried. His Buzzwole first time worked out brilliantly, then fell flat. But right now he's changed up to a Machamp, which can cause a lot of ruckus, because when the Unite pops off, just like Urshifu, they both will start punching the opponents and trying to find chaos.
Well, in the end, Lucifer, it's all about the value each and every Pokemon would put in to the arena. Yes, we begin with the trainers going in, and now they need to be evaluated as soon as possible. The training needs to be done ASAP, as SATUL and Marcos are in the round 3 of the very first match of the last week of this Asia Champions League Stage 1.
It is the last week, as you said, for Stage 1. So teams will give it their all. Games will go all threes. And that's what is happening. The first game has already gone to the third game for now. Let's wait and watch what's going to be happening. And finally, we were talking about annoying in their mid lanes. And this time, Tensai has followed up with that. Trying to deny the buffs. Trying to steal that. It did not work. Wasted some time. But now has gone and reunited with his teammates. But Volk, he's looking forward to evolve from this Larvitar to Tyranitar very soon. Rex is going to be trying and helping in that manner. But right now, we have to just wait and watch, because they're still teeny tiny Pokemons. Because it's still a long way to go.
A long way to go. Marcos picking up the lead. 20 points secured. On the bottom lane, we actually see that some great defenses are also going to be secured on both of the sides. And look at that. Marcos going strong from the very start of the game. Now more points being added. It's still Baby Swine. Okay, here you go. 46. And we are actually going to, stay still in impact with SATUL. Here you go. Snorlax comes in for a KO at Urshifu.
Rex wanted to save him, but it was a crunch from two directions. Could not do anything. Snowy now will try to run away from Might, because he knows Might is an all-rounder. Can do a lot more damage. Tries, he's already boosted up, and unfortunate Kyurem could not help him at the right time. He had the hyperspace hole, but it was not on the ground. It was on the goal zone. Mew also finding one on the bottom lane. Now look at this. Making use of the mid lane. They've done a lot of damage. They're trying to again steal this buff, but oh wait, actually it did happen. Tensai, I think he got the blue buff, or I'm not too sure, because both of them have purple buffs, and now they're trying to punish Tensai for the previous time that he caught Snowy. So at least in terms of exchanges, it is going back and forth of the knockouts, but score, SATL have not even done one. Okay, finally when I say score, they've not even done one. 30 Might was trying to do, but Kyurem, he tries to annoy him, puts a hyperspace hole, will be TPing back. Oh, he does, and now this is Might's opening to goal as 30. A millisecond late, and there is that 30 which SATL gets finally scored.
And here you go, Marcos actually picking it up for themselves. The Hooper would actually secure a KO for... Oh, here you go.
Wow.
KO's coming in from both sides, and looks like SATL might actually come in against Marcos as soon as possible, and they would actually secure 60 points back to back. Now that they're at 90, is just a 40-pointer difference. SATL looking strong at the bottom lane, but it's a 1v1 between Hooper, and Hooper switches in to the bottom lane.
Reggie has spawned on both the top and the bottom lane. Reggie steal is going to be, so whichever team gets it, gets the attacking buff. But Volk right now, he's still not evolved. He's right now in the Pupitar stage. He's still trying to get goals dunked in, but there is Might also with that Machamp, and Dodri also swoops in. So both of them target the Might, they might take him down. But right now, Registeel, whose favor is it going to go? It's barely surviving, but it goes for a reset. Registeel will be getting back its full health. In the meantime, Marcos are losing players one after another, and finally Kurum is going to be there to help him out. The other players are going to quickly respawn after the timer and try to get back in, but Muriam, he jumped right in between the players of SATL, and Muriam is stuck. There is no way that he can be saved. He's trying with his liquidation moves, getting blue HP for himself, trying to fight it as much as he can because he's at level 9 compared to their opponents. They're all at level 8. He's trying to make best use of it, trying to damage. He's chasing Curse, finds the KO on that. That's a big one. He's looking like he doesn't want to stop. On the other end, Volk has evolved to the Tyranitar, gets that Registeel. The attacking buff is going to be there, and they're pretty sure going to make sure get the goal zone destroyed. But wait, they actually backed off seeing Delphox's Unite.
Oh, well, not to stop. Marcos Gaming is on a roll right now. Look at them, they're actually, able to secure more and more points that they would be needing, and they have now reached the scoreline of 152. Covering up the very first 5 minutes, so they also have the double digits coming in on their numbers, but no damage coming in. It's still not a mammoth swine that we talk about. The Machamp is already here, and SATL might actually cover up the scoreline. Okay, the attacks coming in. Upa gets a little bit of damage. Needs to go back. The struggle is already up there. And there you go, the Unite move will land in.
Unite was used, Tencent tried, but he was still taken down. And look at Volk, he's trying to chase them all out. Wait, why didn't he score the... Okay, there's a 40 which Volk had, and that's the reason I was like, why did he stop? And then they understood the AOS energy 40. They wanted a bigger score being put down. Mew again tries to use the Unite, Might trying to survive, but Kurum also pops up the Unite, and now Snowy chasing the Mew. He needs to be worried because he's stuck in the flux. On the other end, Regiliki is also super low. Who secures is something that I want to wait and watch. Tensai is trying to go in for the slap, but I think Regiliki also went for a reset. In the meantime, Volk alone is fighting with 3 players, 2 ranged attackers and 1 healer, but he knows he's level better. Urshifu, he does not secure Regiliki, but he secures Tensai to send him back to the base. And right now, Marcos are looking phenomenal. Initially, it looked like SATL were taking them down, but leveling up, fighting wild Pokemons, gaining experience, they've done it really well. And look at where SATL are stuck at their mid lane, whereas Marcos alone, Miriam, took Reggialiki. We were talking about Might solo handling Reggialiki, but this time it was Miriam. But Might, at least as I spoke about him, he quickly takes down Kurum on Hoopa, and now will try to defend the top goal zone from this Reggialiki. One has been destroyed, they are not ready to let go of another.
Time being wasted on the top lane so that more and more of the points that they have Marcos have secured for themselves, they'll be able to get it for themselves. Got the top lane Reggie, now focusing on the bottom lane Reggie, getting both of them and Marcos Gaming with single Pokemons. On the top lane it was the Urshifu, on the bottom lane it was the Tyranitar. Great work being done from their side, and at last they're ready to say our highs to the Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia land.
Yeah, they won the second game itself. So Marcos, they are going to be the first seed. Nothing to be worried about. Nobody's going to take away that. But I'm pretty sure Marcos want to finish it on a high note here on stage.
On a high note, yeah.
Winning this best of 3 rather than letting SATL get the victory. And look at what Miriam is doing. Took that orange buff. Has the attacking advantage right now. He's trying to take down Pod, but brilliant use of hyperspace hole. But he still gets back. Miriam right now, I don't think he can survive. He tried to use his Unite, did a lot in terms of damage, but will be finally KO'd, and that's the end for Urshifu, at least here in the mid lane story. But he'll respawn, be back in the next 7 seconds. But in the meantime, in the next 25 seconds, it's time for Rayquaza. The last chance for SATL to get this game in victory for themselves.
Indeed, to get this game in victory for themselves. If they
Because
get
goal
a
lead
victory in
Marcos
this
have.
one, yeah, and actually they'll be securing the spot. They won't be moving into a tiebreaker. Whereas Marcos, if they win this one, they finish on a high note. So it's important for both the sides to actually win this one. The last 2 minutes, the final stretch. The boss, the Lord, Rayquaza has appeared.
Rex was hit with the solar beam, trying to run away to the base with the hyperspace hold, did not work. But Snowy, what did he do? He dunked a 34 along with his teammate as Urshifu. Murim was playing. Unite was used, but Unite, another one also swoops in through. The fireworks finds one along with Tencent jumping with a heavy slam. But players are super low. Kurim, can he find one KO? But Urshifu is also gone down. Now this is going to be troublesome. Walk also gets KO'd. Snowy is the survivor along with Kurim. He finds one on Mew. Tensai, he cannot do LUT, but oh nice. Kurim did find one on the Hoopa, and Dodrio also gets a 2 KO streak. He took down the Delphox also. My bad, I did not see that. But in the meantime, Kurim getting a 44 score, but the wild Pokemons! Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Now he's trying to run away, and yes, he teleports back to the base, gets full health. But he's back again in the same spot. He's hiding in the tall grasses, and SATL players have no idea. Rex in the meantime was also in the tall grasses towards the mid lane. But again, he will be KO'd. Wait, I thought he used his Unite previously. But this time, Mammoth Mash comes through. Unfortunately, Wall could not save him. Might goes in punching heavy. But Curse, if they find the KO on Curse, it will be good. Snowy right now will be, yes, KO'd. On the other end, they do find a KO on that Mew. There is a chance. Walk with his Ancient is trying to help it out, but whoa, Tensai with the block coming through. Then the fireworks again. 40 seconds on the clock. It looks like SATL are trying to find a way to turn the tides around. It's only Kurim surviving right now. In the next 30 seconds, he needs to just buy time. But in the meantime, SATL, they're draining the health of Rayquaza, and I think they might just have a chance. 536 to 101.
Oh, indeed, the last of the seconds we have seen. It is going to be SATL securing the Rayquaza. Now, they need to get the goals ASAP. 200 against 536. 400.
400.
Against last 10
500.
seconds. 400 more. 500. More.
But they need to get another
points.
score. Yeah, 35.
35. Can they actually do it? 14.
No.
20 points. 20 points. 20 points is what they would lack against Marcos. A comeback in the end.
Man, Marcos. What a play from their end.
Oh, no.
Not only they denied points here for SATL, but they forced them to maybe be stuck in a tiebreaker. They're already stuck in a tiebreaker with True Rippers, but it can be a three-way tie. But before we get to that, we'll talk about the data right in front of our screens. Walk with 3 KO and 3 assists, but Rex 5 assists, crucial for him. But Kurim also being a supporter, finding 3 KOs along with 7 assists, and then Murim, he did step up. Again, in the end battle, the last final stretch, Murim was getting KO'd constantly along with Rex, but in the early stages with 5 KOs and 2 assists, it's still a great job done. But one big hand credits to 3 players, Snowy, Murim and Kurim. All these 3 players before Rayquaza battle wasted time from SATL's end and scored from 200 or 300 and pushed their scoreline to 539. If that did not happen, right, Marcos, if that did not happen, Brudul, Marcos would have lost actually, because you saw SATL did get it back, and SATL had the legendary pit, the mid lane completely in control, and everybody from Marcos who were getting closer were getting KO'd.
And that is what we have at the screens right now. The last very 10 seconds. We also have seen this happening today only, where the last of the seconds actually went in favor of a team. Well, this time it could have went in favor of them if Ghost would have got the chance to actually secure the points for the team. Well, at last, what's done is done. Getting the Rayquaza, SATL reached this close. Actually be there at the second seed and have no competition against them.
Man, what a play coming in from Marcos, SATL as well. Great try. You can see 515 to 539. Whereas I think this is where SATL took that hit. You can see from 2 minutes they did not score anything, and after 2 to 4 minutes they scored 101. But after that they were stuck, nothing, right? If they managed to score just a couple more goals here and there in between the 4 minute to 8 minute mark, where you can see Marcos also were unable to do a lot. 4 minute to 8 minute, it was only Walk who scored 46 points. Whereas their early scoring is the reason that this advantage worked out in the last for them, that they were able to push. And I said Snowy, Walk and Kurim. I thought it was Murim on Urshifu, but Murim was indulgent fighting, and it was Kurim. And especially Kurim, right? Everybody thought, we will see it in the highlights as well, he used his hyperspace hold, teleported back to the base, full healed, and everybody thought he wouldn't come back there. but he did, and that's where things SATL lost control of. If SATL, at least Tensai held his position there, he could have denied Qrem or at least found a KO, and that 88 score wouldn't have been done.
Exactly, and that is what we actually talk about, right? Moments by moments, you need to be there, present at each and every second. And getting included here, we saw some great games coming in from the side of Marcos on actually getting those Regis, focusing on those Regis single-handedly. Here you have Miriam with Urshifu, and then you had a Tyranitar. So more of damage being tanked on the side of SATL, being denied back to back. This was the time where SATL could have got some more time period, but 3 of their Pokemons were KO'd, and they being sent back to the base. They had to do it in the last 15 seconds. If they had more 15 seconds, I think we could have had some other results, right?
Yeah. If they had a couple more seconds. You saw in the last as well, a 14 was scored, 7 Chaos Energy was put from Might. If he had some more, or maybe if his teammate was able to collect some more Chaos Energy, where I think Tensai was running, but he did not have any Chaos Energy to dunk it in. So, good try from SATL. But again, as I said, Marcos wanted to close their League 1 Stage 1 in style. They already had confirmed their tickets to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, for the battle arena, the LAN fight with the other regions, teams coming through, the other 4 teams coming through, but they wanted to finish it off in style. They wanted to be known to be the first seed, and not just by 1 game and 1 point. They get 3 points right now, and as we did speak with them, it was 12 points right now that they'll be managing to get on the league table. We'll talk about that, but again, I have a huge round of applause to SATL as well. We'll jump to the league table itself, and SATL have a little bit of a tough fight right now because they have to go on a tiebreaker.
Yeah, they're now tied up against True Rippers for the moment, because both of them will be standing at 7 points. But now, if Revenant, they have a match today against God's Reign. If they win that one, then it will be a 3-way tiebreaker.
Yes.
If they lose it against God's Reign will have 2 points. They'll still be sticking in with the 5th position, and then we'll have a perfect 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th seed. But for that, we also have the match remaining, right? The match between Revenant and God's Reign. Well, let's see. The results yet to be disclosed.
Yeah, first and foremost right now, as Marcos have closed it out, 12 points, the highest right now in the overall. Congratulations to them. Let's jump into the interview, quickly talk to them. Murim is here with us, the man who made sure that he's very impactful with the Urshifu. Congratulations, Murim, once again for you guys. You've been on a victory streak.
So
Hello, how does it feel to be the first seed, and also confirm your spot for Malaysia?
It feels really good. I mean, we set up, we set up a goal for ourselves before the tournament, and we achieved it. So yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been a great journey, Murim, where we saw you getting that Urshifu in the last and actually getting those Regis alone, whereas the other team is busy fighting against themselves. So what was your strategy for the very last game, where SATL were this close to actually have a victory against you?
So in the last game, what we planned was to, go on very much of our comfort picks, like individually as players. And so we picked those, and we were like, we'll perform our best on those and, close out the series. So that is what we did.
Perfect.
Now that you're heading to Malaysia, as well as you still want to keep up the first seed, there'll be a battle that you will have to do at the final stage. So what are your thoughts, and what would be your preparation? Because right now it's not just India region, you will eventually meet East Asia and Southeast Asian teams. So what are your strategies, the plans coming forward, because it's going to be Indian representation on a global stage?
Yeah, I mean, I am very excited to represent our country. We are finally given a chance to compete internationally, and I mean, we'll prepare very hard for that and give our best, to not disappoint anyone and, have fun.
Yeah.
Man, we've enjoyed seeing you from the start, and how you have evolved as a team to become one of the dominating teams. You've closed in a big fashion. I'm going to wish you and your entire team all the best. Thank you so much for joining this interview, and I'm looking out for you guys wrecking the stage on the international as well. Thank you so much for
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow,
Ah,
again, what a
yeah.
play coming in from him, right? He said they wanted to go for the comfort picks, give it their all, and make sure that however the first, the second went out, they wanted to make sure they close it out. Iffy
Yeah.
spot happened, but because they were in their comfort picks, they knew they
Correct.
could get it back in the game, and especially the
Correct.
goals that they did put it down. So
Yeah.
goals worked. They had a score. Tried SATL after getting Rayquaza, but you saw, right? They'll give it their all, and we are looking forward to it. I'm also super happy because Marcos, after having their initial dropout in the India Open after just
Yeah.
one match, and
Mhm.
here to dominate, right? Without
Correct.
letting any other team take them down was just brilliant to watch this.
Correct, and sticking to the basics actually landed perfect for them. So really happy to actually see one of the Indian teams getting all set for the Malaysia land. But again, they still have a fight in the second stage where they'll actually fight against the winner of the second and the third seed match. Oh,
Yeah.
the winners coming in from two back-to-back positions. Well, now is the time to actually move forward to the next games.
We'll take a short break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back. after a very, I would say, time-taking and a very enjoyable match, welcome back to
Yeah.
Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League for the India region. My name is Lucifer. Along with me, it's back Mridul. We are here ready for the second match. Yes, we have a tie, but before we talk about the tie, we want to talk about God's Reign and Revenant. Mridul, this storyline and this rivalry has been going on. Again, for the viewers, all of these players are friends out of the match, not during the match. During the match, they act complete rivals. And God's Reign and Revenant, it's a match which has been going back and forth. Revenant denied them from getting to the finals in the India Open stage, where God's Reign were pushed to the lower bracket. From there, God's Reign climbed up. Let's quickly talk about them as we are looking at them, the players. And from there, God's Reign won the champions title. And that consists of these 5 amazing players: Divine, Kael, Noxy, Omen and Scepter. But Revenant seeking their revenge against them, against a team in Asia Champions League India region in the league stage, haven't had a great run. It's going to be Revenant trying to deny them once again. Zishal, Blizzard, Crowley, Nova and the Swifty.
Here you go, Revenant against God's Reign. This is going to the match for a decider that if we are actually going to see a 3-way tiebreaker or no, because again, Revenant is at 4, whereas God's Reign have got no victories up until now. Yes, for a Revenant Esports streak on the day number 1, yes, they've got a victory against SATUL. Opened with style. Day 2, they had no match. Day 3, they lost it against True Rippers. Day 4, yes, they lost it against Marcos, but they had one game against them. And this is where they have landed. Now, if they get a clean sweep victory against God's Reign, definitely they would still be able to have a 3-way tiebreaker against SATUL and True Rippers. But again, it is always on this sweet rivalry that goes on from back long, from Pokemon Unite India Open to each and every stage that these teams have played against each other. God's Reign and Revenant Esports. We talk about some player trivias. We have a speedster, powerful Omen, that he can always play a speedster very well. And hobby is to watch anime. Indeed,
Yes.
part of Pokemon.
There's one thing I do want to add on to what this trivia says, that he can play Speedster and he tells you he has Talonflame and Dodrio. But on top of that, I'm pretty sure, and I've seen him, he can also play a very menacing Omen. Glaceon.
Yeah.
Omen as Glaceon is also very tough to deal with. He comes in with the Icicle Spears, Icy Winds, which is very disastrous. Hits, drains a lot of the HP. So I'm looking forward to that maybe happening, or if he gets a chance to play the wanted Pokemon, the Dodrio, most of the times. But as we were talking about one speedster from one team, we'll talk about another speedster from the other team. It's going to be none other than Blizzard. His trivia, none other than playing speedster that he loves listening to trance music. Ooh. I certain times do say that it would kind of calm you as well as help you reset better, and also puts you in your own go when you listen to trance music. But on the other hand as well, he's a F1 fanatic. I'm looking forward to it because the upcoming season is also going to be very interesting.
Indeed, so some more good trivia, some more good hobbies being added onto these players, and they make a whole of a different personality having different trainers all set in the arena. Well, we already have an announcement that Marcos Gaming is now already going to be there in the Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia land, but again, they still need to fight against a champion coming after 2 or 3 more stages, 2 or 3 more days of matches yet left. Now, we move on to the Revenant versus God's Reign match. Yes, it is going to be a best of 3, in which if Revenant wins, it is going to be a 3-way tiebreaker, or if God's Reign win, indeed they're going to, crush that chance of Revenant actually going to get a better seed for themselves.
Yeah, Revenant will be stuck in the 4th seed. Let's jump into the game and see the bans. But I want to see if God's Reign will become a thorn for Revenant, and as you said, deny them from getting a better seed. But quickly talking about the bans, I might end up seeing a Dodrio as well as a Cliffable ban again. Previously we saw a Scyther and a Cliffable, but I think this time a Dodrio and a Cliffable ban, because if Blizzard does not get to pick Dodrio, he doesn't want God's Reign Omen getting a chance to pick. And because God's Reign will have a starting chance to pick the Pokemon, right? I feel like Revenant just might ban the Dodrio. We'll wait and watch.
Wait and watch for all the results to actually pop in, and here you go! Huh?
Cliffable on both the ends.
Cliffable on both the
It does not
ends.
happen all the time, but when it happens, yes, it's a surprise. But Omen, he takes up immediately the Urshifu, making use of the water moves, liquidation coming through the surging strikes. On the other, I want to see what Swifty and Blizzard pick up. Is it going to be a Hoopa? Is it going to be a Dodrio? Oh, okay, a Slowbro and a Dodrio. This is an interesting choice. Now, Hoopa is opened up for God's Reign, and when God's Reign, I was watching a couple of their matches. They're not very inclined to playing Hoopa, but when they did, they're able to cause trouble. But having Scyther open, Kyle picks it up with, as I said, Hoopa available, locks it in.
Indeed, and look at that. Now, moving forward to actually looking on to a side of Revenant. We see that Blizzard goes in for a Lucario, then we have Swifty coming in with the Snorlax. Again, I'm keen to see that what performance will God's Reign bring with the Scyther after it has got a nerf.
Now, again, it is the Wing Beat that has gotten a nerf, so maybe they switch into the Scizor or Scizor, whichever people in terms of, I would say, how we would like to pronounce it, because I've heard both Scizor and Scizor, but right now we'll talk about the last picks, and very surprised is Mew being picked at the last from God's Reign, and then Crowley, unfortunately not picking it up early on. He has to stick on to the Cramorant. Just as we saw a very deadly Mew coming in from both the ends on Marcos and Esituel, right? Crowley is also one such very deadly player on Mew. Again, not telling Scepter is not closer, but Scepter also has versatility in that region. He can also try and play an all-rounder, so he can cause trouble in different domains. But Crowley, he causes a lot of troubles in the ranged attacker domain and lesser towards the side of defender. So you can see a different perspective from when we see Crowley and Scepter. Right now, I thought it should have been a Venusaur, but having Lucario, it's going to be tough, yes, because Dodrio is on their end, and then they have a Lucario. If it was a double all-rounder setup as we see from God's Reign, I would have felt maybe Revenant would have had a heavy hitting chance, but God's Reign having their two all-rounders is something for Revenant to watch out.
A lot for Revenant to actually watch out here. We move in and we start with the very first game, the very first round of the match number 2. God's Reign going against Revenant Esports. On the bottom lane, in the mid lane, and at the top lane, the fights begin. The road to evolution starts.
Yeah, super crucial because many Pokemons on God's Reign end have to evolve compared to Revenant's end. There is only the Dodrio that needs to evolve, which is at the Dodrio stage. Swifty, trying to cause trouble, wanted to steal those buffs. He will himself be denied of surviving and be sent back to the base. Right now, early goals, you can see it is God's Reign getting some, but Blizzard, can he find a knockout? He's trying to go ahead with the punches, but Scyther is still stuck onto the Wing Beat coming through. We will wait for it. Right now, there's Swifty who's also swooped in, so Divine needs to run away. He does have 2 AOs and he can score, but understanding the possibility that Blizzard was super low, KO being found from God's Reign. Now Swifty, he just needs to find a way to survive or at least find 1 KO, but Divine, having the speed, runs away immediately, and all Swifty can do is take a nap until his teammate reunites with him.
Well, God's Reign now reaching the very 20-point mark where, okay, it's not much of a lead, but again, God's Reign, everything focusing more on their victory. Crowley still not being able to, evolve to the final stage. We're looking forward to actually getting it for themselves. Here you go, Dodrio gets a KO, but a revenge KO comes in from Urshifu, and Snorlax has been sent back to the base. Well, Dodrio adding the points back to back. This is what we expected, and definitely Revenant is up with the performance. Here you go, the 30 points being added, and now Revenant has picked up the lead. The tackles coming in. Oh no, damage is more and more and more, and Revenant would still be able to secure the goal post.
Crowley could have found a KO on Scepter. Scepter needed to keep his distance. He's level 4 where Crowley is at level 7. This is what the mid laning does to you. Gives you buffs and levels you better. Right now, it's just going to be a holdout. They were trying to chase 50. They wanted to find a knockout on that, but it looks like Scyther is going to be the first one out. Yes, knocked out. Crowley might be the second here from the opposite team. Yes, it is. And there was no way that Revenant could have actually helped him because Urshifu, he slams in with his punches coming through. But right as of now, we have to see whether it's going to be a complete top lane 5-man or a 4-man push from either of the ends. For now, teams are splitting up. Majority of the God's Lane players are at the bottom lane. Revenant on the other end is already mid laning. That is the Dodrio on God's Lane's mid lane. But Mama Swine gets hit, gets taken down. God's Lane have a deficit to work with. But on the top lane, as we was talking about the Dodrio, Nova from the mid lane switched to the top lane along with Lucario helping him out. Both level 8 right now, and Scyther knew he cannot fight because he's level 7. If at least Dodrio was a level lesser, he could have fought and at least found one KO. But Nova, look at him, is taking away the buffs constantly. As soon as the buffs are spawning, he's denying all the wild Pokemons in the mid lane for God's Lane. God's Lane don't even have the idea, Pradul.
Not having the idea of actually securing the perfect moves for themselves. There you go! The Reggie Ice comes in their favor, and at last it might result as a boon as Hooper gets a KO on the Crammer and Urshifu getting a KO. 3 Pokemons already been KO'd before they actually teleport back to this position. You need to get back the KOs for your team. Here you go. Urshifu working its power. And now God's Reign have leveled up the score line.
134 to 137. Yes, 4 more, but right now they have to get back to their mid lane or steal the mid lane from Revenant. But Revenant are smart. They do not give away the mid lane so easily. But Crowley along with Zishal, they're swooping in. Who want to take out the Omen? Omen, if he goes for a 1-1, takes down the ranged attacker, then he can take down easily. But the Unite being used from Crowley. But Omen gets a chance to run there. He's still being hit. He has a chance, uses the hyperspace hole, teleports back to base, and from there he can come in. Really brilliant use of his Unite. Finds one KO on Crowley, a big one. But right now Kyle is super low. Assistance coming in from Scepter a little bit too late, but Nova and Swifty confirm it. But before that, they also lose a player. The Snorlax has been sent back to base. Will respawn along with Crowley.
And with that, we begin with the power. The still positions that Revenant is still maintaining at their base. Okay, so the fight goes on, but look at Mamoswine again on the bottom lane. Yes, it is going to be Dodrio getting the points back to back, going solo, but Hoopa is going to be a problem now that the Reggie is present for themselves. Yes, the bottom lane Reggie is still needed, but it is going to be a hard battle to be fought between both the teams to actually secure the Reggie. Urshifu goes in, and the Lucario goes back to base.
Little bit of an extension coming in. I mean, I understand he wanted to secure at least 1 KO. He did get, but giving away his life, and now his team is vulnerable. They're trying to fight back. They've lost the top goal zone as well as the bottom. They wanted to destroy a goal zone of Revenant on the top, but Swifty is trying to work. Divine tried to use. I think he will find a KO on Swifty. Yes, he does, but in the meantime, Regieleki can be secured. In the meantime, also talking about it, Nova, he wanted to go for a sneaky goal. Noxy using his Unite to take down Regirock. I think the intention is to be very quick on this because he was alone, and if there is anybody else who swoops in, it can be tough because top Regieleki couldn't have been stolen or stopped from taking away, and therefore they decide and let it go. But in the meantime, Regieleki is putting, it's only Urshifu who's trying to hold it out for how long. Uses the Unite. Omen does not find any value. Kyle swoops in, he uses his Unite, but look at Cramorant again comes in with the Unite, trying to annoy, but Kyle has swooped in. He wants to take down Crowley, finds that KO on Crowley, and that's where everything just starts falling apart. 3 players are sent back from Revenant, and now immediate switch on to the top lane. They want to try and go get the goal scored in, but Swifty along with his Slowbro are coming in from the mid lane so they can stop those goals from happening.
Indeed, and we begin with Revenant still at the lead against God's Reign. Here you go, we see some tackles coming in, and Swifty might land around a lot of damage on the team, and here you go, it's actually going to be Cramorant getting that KO on Mamoswine. Revenant have got the lead. If they get the very first game, they're going to get more and more points secured for themselves. Again, not even a clean sweep, but again, they just need to win against God's Reign to actually have a 3-way tiebreaker. Well, on the other side, we see God's Reign having a really strong battle against them. And with that, we see a KO coming in from the Sizer. GR kill, working the magic.
Kyle has been finding knockout on Nova easily. Again, he knows it's a Scyther, so he can go in with the wing beat and make sure he take it down. But right now, a big 50 Slowbro along with Crowley. Both of them are trying to chase him. The 50 will not come down. Skull comes and burns him. Telekinesis and immediate Crowley to put him down. Oh, it's still Zishal itself. So You saw how tough it is to score a 50. Loses so much of the AS on his G right now. He has just 12. But in the meantime, there's going to be a block. Noxy trying to survive. His hyperspace wall will be a little bit tad later because Lucario puts and confirms him down. But look at what Godzilla have done. Alone Swift, I would say the Hoopa, annoyed, wasted time. But that was all. In the meantime, Godzilla pushed the bottom lane. Got scores dunked. Right now, in next 20 seconds, we are going to be seeing the Rayquaza. It's going to be the final stretch, and they are already KOing players. But in the meantime, Regielk on the top. Ouch, this got hurt. Twice is when they got the Regielk for themselves. Next 10 seconds, if Godzilla are quick, they can get the bottom Regi, but understanding there's no time left, they will be waiting at the mid lane right now. And it's time for the last battle.
And we begin with the very last battle where we actually see the
Crowley
Rayquaza
early
already
Unite?
getting tapped. Oh, wait. We still have time remaining. Oh, okay. The Rayquaza goes down.
Oh,
and it's going
a
to be Godsend getting that steal against Revenant. And if they actually win this one, oh, what a round it has been. Oh my god, God's Rain coming in with the steal, but Revenant still being able to secure those points. They actually want to cover it up. Can they actually do it? God's
20
Rain,
points.
At least finish your points.
There's 1 minute 22 seconds. Rayquaza, which was taken, was completely denied. Godsend did not find value. Omen will be feeling bad. Omen, yes, he alone was trying to hold mid lane, fight it all out, made sure if the shield is destroyed, doesn't matter. His teammates needs to find a way to secure it. Right now on the top lane, Divine is trying to score on that Mamoswine, but it's not working. Kyle, in the meantime, he still has his shield active, and now Omen is the one who's leading the charge. Kyle right behind him can survive. Right now, oh no, trying to destroy the shield. Kyle goes in. I think he should be getting the 43 scored. Yes, and they push it to the 440. Right now, to get back into the game is going to be tough. Kyle still finds a KO, finds 2 KO. Man, oh man, he'll be so happy that he brought in Urshifu with him. Urshifu helped him out to survive, and those wing beats coming through. He put them down. 18 gets scored, but scoring another 100 is going to be 200 is going to be tough. Nova gets put down again. Using the Unite is what the Snorlax is trying. It's not going to work.
In the patch note. No. It would just be a nerf in the patch note. Look at Sizer going in for one more KO streak, and we just saw with the same move, Wing Beat it was, and actually it was God's Rain finishing it in their half. We saw a great battle by Urshifu and Sizer in the last of the seconds. The last 30 seconds meant a lot for God's Rain because the very first 10 seconds of the last stretch, they stole the Rayquaza, and after that, Revenant was actually going to get it down. The Rayquaza advantage that God's Rain would have got, it was going to go down if Omen and Gale would not have done the wonder.
Yeah, okay, you need to give credit. 7 knockouts and 7 assists, 9 on Kyle with knockouts and 5 assists, 9 assists coming in from Noxy. Scepter doing a brilliant job, and the Solar being coming through annoying. 4 knockouts, 5 assists coming through, and Divine, he also was annoying them, and Divine was the one who could take up so much damage from the opposition, cause trouble, waste time, and Noxy also did that. But on the other end, Zishal also tried his best along with Swifty. Both of them had, I think, double digits in terms of assists. Crowley, you can see why he's a menace. 83,000 in terms of damage, and every time there was a team battle, he was always popping his Unite. Every time, even in the last Legendary Pit Rayquaza battle, I think if Crowley did not use his Unite, right, Godsrain would have swooped in. First KO would be Crowley, and then followed up would be Nova, Blizzard, Swifty, and Zishal. Or maybe after Crowley it could have been Swifty or Zishal. That Unite helped them to kind of try and drain Rayquaza, but Omen coming from the complete utmost top lane and then swooping right down to just secure Rayquaza is something that they never thought of. Because you saw Noxy got KO'd on that Unite form, Rings Unbound on Hoopa. He was completely melted. He was like, his health drained like it was nothing. There was completely a tap open, and that's all it happened. Noxy on his Unite was denied of doing anything. Followed up with, I think, one more player who got KO'd. I think Kyle, who wanted to swoop in with a wing beat, did not work out. But the second time he swooped in, he popped his Unite along with Omen. As Rayquaza was secured, he also KO'd a couple of players from Revenant.
Well, again, it was just the very first round, the very first game. of the second match that we're going to see. Again, both the sides, it was a Revenant that was the very first at every minute mark to be above God's Reign. 77, 137, 183, 235, and even in the final stretch, Rayquaza, Steel went a lot, but it ended all great. The very first 10 seconds of the Rayquaza was gone, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Revenant decided that our final stretch battle might not be completely flawless. So let's try and go for a quick Rayquaza battle, try to completely take it in our favor, and then we'll score in. Because God's Reign sneakily did score just before the Rayquaza battle, which gave them a little of a sneaky lead, but that was also taken back immediately. But you could see Revenant were the one who had majority of the control when I would say in the early 5 minutes of the game. Both top and bottom lane, they were always in God's Reign mid lane. But one thing that I would say God's Reign switched is when Kyle got his Unite along with Urshifu, they played together, they came in as heavy hits, got that advantage, and then along with that, the same time, Noxie was acting as a distraction, Divine on Mamoswine is acting as a distraction, and that is the reason it worked out. And Omen here, who swooped in, right, caused trouble, annoyed them, and Kyle was so happy because by the time his shield got destroyed, he already scored a big 40, which pushed their scoreline to 542. And you can see, desperate were the players of Revenants. 50 went in, Nova went in. They wanted to just score, get some score in, because they were not too sure how close the battle was or how differentiated in the scorelines the battle was. Good try, but this is what I said. God's Reign can become a thorn for Revenant, denying them a 3-way tie and another chance to become the second team or the second position team in the league stage right now, to become the second seed in the stage 2, where it's a double elimination bracket. Am I bad?
Yeah.
It is a single elimination bracket.
Single elimination, yeah. And well, the things still go on, Lucifer.
Yeah.
Because again, the story has not ended. It's still to be written. We still are going to see that Revenant now have two games back to back, or either they're sticking to the 4th seed that they have. We still are going to see a tiebreaker. Even if Revenant loses, it's going to be True Rippers against SATUL. Both have 7 points. Both have the second seed for the positions. But again, it is going to be decided today that what happens in the next week.
We will decide. Let's jump to the game and see in game number 2, can God's Reign secure another victory, deny Revenant, and as you said, if somebody's going down, they have to go down with us. And the first match which we'll end up seeing, right, even in the second stage, the elimination bracket, is going to be again God's Reign versus Revenant if Revenant don't get this victory, and it's going to be the teams in the 4th and the 5th seed having the first battle when we start off the elimination bracket, the stage 2. Bans, I think, should be similar, or maybe finally a Dodrio ban. It is a problem, still something that they have to work with. And it is going to be a Dodrio, but God's Reign are like, we played Urshifu really well, let's not give them the chance, because this time they are not picking up first. It's going to be Revenant. And now Swifty, I want to see what choice he makes. It's going to be a Clefable, which is a buffed supporter, which a lot of teams have loved playing. And there it is.
Not to leave anything behind, it is going to be an Urshifu ban from God's Reign. At last, homework has been done. We have seen that Urshifu bans haven't been landed very well in the meta up until now, and there's no Urshifu ban.
Hey.
The first team who gets a chance will pick that Urshifu. For now, Swifty going in for a Clefable. On the side, you see Scepter going in for a Delphox, whereas Omen goes in for a Scyther.
I have a question here. God's Reign, they had a chance to pick up Mew. Scepter played really well previous game. He switches to a Delphox. Crowley got a chance now. I'm worried. Yes, you picked up the Scyther. You did play the Scyther previously as well on Kyle. But right now, having a chance to pick up and lock Mew, I'm worried. And I was talking about Omen playing a very disastrous Glaceon. It looks like Blizzard thought about it. He's switching between Venusaur, talking amongst his teammates, which would be a better one. And I think it's going to be a Glaceon, because Venusaur will have to go in close range if it's a Petal Dance as well as Giga Drain moveset. Otherwise, it'll be tough. So if they go for a Solar Beam one, then just like Mew, have to play in range, and then with the Sludge Bomb coming through, maybe not a Giga Drain. But Machamp is the one that Nova locks in. Divine on the other end has Mamoswine, which he played brilliantly previously, but Kyle is like, I played my share of the all-rounder. Right now I want another AoE damage one, and he picks up none other than the Gardevoir.
No choice to be left. The Gardevoir will always and always land around as the perfect choice. Indeed, they'd be switched up. Kale goes in for that Scyther, and Omen goes in for a Gardevoir. But again, things need to be sorted out because again, Crowley has been given that advantage of having that Mew for the team. And here you go. We actually are going to be in the game as soon as possible because, well, it's a decider for Revenant. If they win this one, they can actually have a chance to be there and have a 3-way tiebreaker. Or if it's God's Reign winning the second game back to back in the match number 2, they are done with the Thorn in Team Revenant Esports.
Maybe the last, maybe not the least. We have to wait and watch. Let's go for the game number 2 of match number 2 on the last week of the league stage of the Asia Champions League. This time, I'm pretty sure Omen is... Wait! Okay, I did not pay close attention in the preparation phase. Omen is the one who's playing on Gardevoir, not Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle has switched back to Sizer now. It's going to be interesting. On the other end, yes, as we did expect, it is Glaceon who needs to play on the mid lane, and that's what Revenant is doing, pushing that. But Mew is something that I was looking forward to coming in from God's Reign, having the chance. But now that Crowley has it, he's going to cause a lot of trouble. But Divine, in the meantime, he's causing trouble with getting a couple of sneaky beaky goals. But I don't think he will survive. He's trying to run. 2 players are chasing him. He's trying to push. Kyle is finally here. He can slice and dice and try to deny it. And understanding the deficit that Revenant players are both at level 3 compared to God's Reign, both players at level 4, they give away the top lane, at least towards their goal zone.
Early tackles, early battles, early tackles, early battles. Win the game, and come back again. God's Reign, well, they're still halfway through in the very first 2 minutes, but again, if we see towards the evolution, God's Reign is more focused on it. Look at that, the Revenant is going to get a lot of damage. They have the very best of a ranged attacker. Mew getting a lot of damage on the team. And Chaos coming back, Streaks coming in. 43 against just 13. Not a good start for God's Reign. Well, let's see what they can do in the last 8 minutes that they have.
I'm not even sure why Omen decided from all the way top lane to push to the bottom lane when he's, as you said, not evolved. Revenant are concentrating on that, except for this small little Machamp, which I mean needs to evolve to the Machamp. Everybody else is looking good in levels. So bottom lane has been exceptionally well in control for Revenant. But again, this is the early stages. You can see both God's Reign players as well as Revenant players waiting for the wild Pokemons. But how long will they keep waiting? Kyle has a chance to find a KO. But finally, a teeny tiny Machamp has evolved to the second stage. We'll be looking forward to the last and the final one, but in the meantime, another KO is what Crowley finds. Crowley is not stopping. He finds the 2 KO streak. He takes it on Gardevoir. Kirillov, very small right now, needs to evolve. It's going to hurt. But again, I don't think these early games are going to be enough because we have seen the late games are the ones who have been deciding the flow of the entire victory.
The things still go on. We still see that it's actually landing correct for Revenant in these seconds. But now is the time that we actually are going to see a comeback coming in from God's Reign. 105 points. Gardevoir doing the work. And God's Reign up to get all the Regis. Look at that. 4 Pokemons going in for the Regi. And on the bottom lane, we have a Regius coming in the favor of Team Revenant.
Majority of the players from God's Reign, they were in the top lane understanding that Reggie is already spawned. Revenant will take up the bottom Reggie. So they're like, we'll quickly take it away. But in the meantime, look at this Machoke, who's playing in the mid lane of God's Reign. But 3 players! It was a trap! And there was no expectation from that slow, bro. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. Seashell was not ready for that. Blizzard now trying to work it out. Divine swooped in. Oh, Psyshock is good, but the Citrus Berry helps Blizzard. He survives. And Divine goes down. Nothing to be worried about because God's Reign, they've gotten themselves the lead.
Gotten themselves the lead, gotten themselves the performance, and it still goes rain. KOs are coming on them, and Revenant is being more of a damaging team than what God's Rain expected for them to be in the second round. But again, Revenant, a lot is on stake. No mistakes to be done. Get the evolutions ASAP. Okay, the levels are getting increased back to back, and now it's Revenant that are looking strong on that. Oh no! 4 Pokemon help the Cliffable at last. Look at that. Would be able to manage that, but no. The points have already been added. It's a KO coming in on the side of Revenant.
Revenant snatched that lead immediately. Scepter uses the fireworks to push the players back. Crowley is looking super low. Divine respawns and he's back in. Takes down that Cliffable. And Godzilla like will push it up. But Blizzard, look at where he's playing. He's trying to take away these mid lane buffs. Kyle at least takes the purple. And oh wait, the orange was actually taken away because they did take down Blizzard. And Glaceon is out.
Well, it's not much of a lead that Revenant has been allowed to maintain against the side of God's Rain. Moving forward, we see that God's Rain right now look great with the performance, but no! They would be getting the Reggie, and this is going interesting back to back, whereas they would be getting the top lane Regiliki, and on the bottom lane you have Revenant getting the Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel or Reggie Rock that is available for
Brudel, they're making a 4-man push. They saw Swifty hiding in the tall grasses. Can they find KO? Oh, Regeliki sat inside. Mammoth Mash coming through. They are trying to push Zishal out, but Kyle goes down. Now this is going to get difficult. Along with that, Machamp finds one on Gardevoir. They've lost 2. Make it 3. The Fox also goes out. Noxy with his Unite is trying to fight with Blizzard, but he's barely surviving. The basic attack was enough. It finds value, delivers a KO, but very low was Blizzard. Exchange a blow at least in the bottom lane, but look at this. It's 2-0-10 and 2-0-9. 12 can be scored here. Divine is trying. The gravity comes in, and with Zishal's help, Divine will not be allowed to score his 12. Will lose all the AS on Easy that he had. Scoreline will still be 2-10 and 2-0-9. But in the meantime, Machamp on the top lane is going to be pushing along. Delphox is there, but Kyle in the bottom lane is already waiting, understanding. Gardevoir from the mid lane pushes up with the Psy Shock. Does not find any value, but the Psychic attack hits them, trying to find value. Wing beat then, and Divine with his high horsepower swooping in, finds Slowbro. Slowbro is out.
And here you go, Revenant against God's Rain. It's just a single point of difference. God's Rain won't leave it too easily, and they know what they can do. Look at Kale doing
Crowley.
the wonders with Sizer, and Crowley. Not so easy.
That fight could have worked out. Kyle could have actually KO'd Blizzard, but Crowley with the Surf. Brilliant utilization of the moves coming in when we talk about Mew. Moves resets at the right time. Score is still 2-10 and 2-0-9. It's just battles going back and forth. Revenant are thinking they might get the I would say map control. God's Rain are answering back, going over a 5-man fight, but this time Revenant are like, you've taken Regeliki far too long. We're going to be quickly taking away this Regeliki from you. Oh wait, they're trying to steal it away, but it goes in the favor of none other than Revenant this time because of Crowley. Crowley always, I think of all like the steals or at least secures, right? At least 80% is favored in Crowley's. Crowley before going down was KO'd. He takes down Kyle as well, so the Scyther is out. But in the next 20 seconds, I think if God's Rain want to kind of equalize the scores, they need to go and head to the bottom Reggie. But they're not paying attention to that. They just wanted to deny the Regeliki on the top from sitting on their goal zone.
Well. Revenant goes in, and look at that. Just one single point. And whereas they could make a big difference, the Rayquaza is here. And now the Unite moves will come in. The battle begins at the Legendary Pit. There you go. The action from Mamoswine. And the damage goes in, but Divine. The Mamoswine has already taken the damage. Goes in. Gets the Rayquaza for themselves. Oh, the history has already been written. Now, what they need to do is secure the points ASAP.
They need to score these points ASAP, but Revenant are known to kind of destroy these Rayquaza shields. Blizzard destroyed on Mamoswine, but on the other end, they were unable to destroy it for the other players. Blizzard is teleporting back to base, I guess, to deny the other Pokemon. Slowbro is already there. Kyle, he has a 50. I'm not too sure why he's trying to fight. He should go for a score. I'm not seeing the bar. Oh wait, because of the telekinesis it was held, but this time, oh wait, The second move broke the shield. He was almost about to score that big 100. Look at how close the score is because Revenant also pushed because of this 100, Scepter's 100. That is the reason we see God's Reign at 359. Otherwise, Revenant were at 342 already. KO streak 2. The Rayquaza shield, I think nobody has it, or maybe one person, that is Gardevoir, has the Rayquaza shield yet. Oh, nobody has it from God's Reign, but nonetheless the score lines are better. And Scyther, Kyle, he's already guarding the bases. They're going in for a sneaky score if possible, but a KO is being bound to Crowley, but Gardevoir finds one KO on the slow bro. They're going for a score, but Crowley alone cannot defend this goal zone. Another 100 gets scored. 459. Unfortunate, as people were still respawning. As you can see, 3 players are still in the countdown. Unite gets used. Oh, Swifty trying to defend it, but for now God's Reign have closed it, denied Revenant of any points or a 3-way tie. And God's Reign are like, we are not out of the game. We did not play well in the start, but right now we have found a way to close it strong.
And we at last finish with it. God's Reign 2-0 against Revenant Esports, and both of them will be sticking to their positions. 700 is what they have reached in the second game, Lucifer. Wow, what a beauty
Look at Omen.
done from their side, and look at
4
Omen.
knockouts.
10 assists. 4 knockouts, leave it. 10 freaking assists. A perfect
Noxie?
Gardevoir. What more you want from him?
Noxie has 2 knockouts, he has 8 assists. Scepter has 8 knockouts, 6 assists, being the player of the game. Divine coming in with 7 assists with 2 knockouts. But Scepter, he's the big man who scored all the crucial goals. Even in the last one, it was him who scored a big 100 because of his team pushing to 700. On the other end, good try coming in. You can see Zishal has 8 assists. Crowley alone has 9 knockouts. Can you believe that? A ranged attacker and then Nova. I think if Crowley and Nova played together, it could have been better. They left Nova on the top lane. Nova was finding a couple of knockouts. Certain times he was getting knockout and top lane control was being lost. I think that was a back and forth battle. But Omen, I think early 2-3 minutes, his Gardevoir battle did not at all work out. He was getting closer to the opponents and instantly getting KO'd. But then he worked out really well. Damage 92,000 coming in from Scepter on Delphox. Only once, I guess, his fireworks was kind of nullified. That was Nova, who had his attack dynamic punch, because of which he was able to run away. Or wait, it was a cross punch that he had, because of which he was able to run away further from that fireworks, and he survived. Omen, I did not see his Unite finding a lot of value, but I think Revenant always tried to stay away from it and were worried if he popped it out, everybody would be like, it would be a black hole, right? People would be pulled to the center, and if they were a level low compared to Omen, mostly they would have found KO. And I think God's Reign, I think the late fight, whichever they were doing, worked out in their favor. They were playing together. I didn't even see Noxie was like very crucial, right? Putting the hyperspace hole where players had to teleport. It didn't come to such of a hectic situation. God's Reign had things in control. They played well, played smart, and this time before Revenant could start the Rayquaza battle, God's Reign said, that's not happening from you guys. We're going to make sure that we are going to start it off and finish it as well. And deny, look at Rayquaza, 8 minutes, and I think in less than 30-40 seconds Rayquaza was gone, disappeared.
Well, at last, Revenant going against God's Reign, and the battle has finished, right, Lucifer? The work has been done. To see the side of God's Reign, points were already added from the very start. A great start was there. Mamoswine did a lot for the team. Then if you talk about Delphox, adding 2 of those hundreds that added to the score. And crucial points were always added by Gardevoir. At the every moment where Gardevoir could have made a difference, the Pokemon was able to do so. And when you talk about Revenant Esports, constant amount of performance, but I think we missed a lot on Cliffable. Added 64 for the team, would have added more. Great work done from the side of Machamp, I must say, because Mew could have done a lot for the team in the last of the minutes, but couldn't add so. And God's Reign getting the Rayquaza easily, but then being stuck down by Revenant. It was, a glimpse to the eye where we saw some great performance, and in the end, even if they got the Rayquaza, Revenant was able to maintain the defense against them.
Yeah,
As a firm.
I want to add on to that. I've seen Revenant denying teams which have taken Rayquaza, breaking their shield and not letting them score a lot. But unfortunately what happened is Revenant denied that and also got KO'd themselves. If that did not happen, right, Revenant would have destroyed all the shields and pushed to the basis of God's Reign and got these goals scored. You can see on the screen, it was God's Reign who got a chance after breaking their shield, reunite together and push the bottom lane together, and that's where they pushed the score 100 from, I think, a couple of 350 ahead, 390 something that they were ahead, and then they scored a big 100 and which pushed them to 400, 500, 600 and 700. Man, God's Reign will be feeling happy. They made a statement that the stage 1 might be over, but we are not done with it. We might be getting the points at the last, but you need to be worried, and that's how they swooped in. They did not look great in the India Open as we started off on the LAN, but they ended on a high note, and they did end the stage 1 on a high note. Might not be the first seed, but now teams will be worried that God's Reign are looking like they're making a comeback.
Ah, indeed, and well, to start from the beginning, to start from the start, we see that it's a lot still at stake. In this India League table, we are going to see a tiebreaker between True Rippers and SATUL. But look at that, God's Reign, at last, they've won a game. And that too against the perfect competitor that has always been there for them, Revenant Esports.
Yeah, this rivalry is going to go along leaps and bounds. Nobody's going to be able to stop this. Revenant will be feeling bad. I'm pretty sure Crowley as well as such a phenomenal performance that he portrayed. Again, I think there was some synergy issues over there because there was a lot of individual plays coming in from Revenant rather than a team execution, because you saw Blizzard, he was caught alone a lot of the times. Crowley was always trying to keep back, trying to survive. Nova, as we said, he was always on top lane alone. So, problems. But on the other end, I'm pretty sure just like me as well as the other fans for God's Reign, they will be excited now. Like the performance that they expected from God's Reign from day one, it was not there, but at least before they ended the stage 1, they got points for themselves, and also in a very brilliant fashion. It was not just that Revenant could not play. They denied Revenant to make plays. They denied Revenant from, I would say, executing their strategy. You saw at all times in the early stages, in the second game at least, Mridul, Rayquaza being taken was God's Reign itself. They were giving the bottom, I would say, Reggie Steel, but they're like, we push Reggie Aleki, we get an added on ally, we buy time, fight with wild Pokemon, gain experience, level up, and I think even having one level a little bit better and then able to take down immediately, I think Rayquaza going on so early is something that Revenant did not speculate. But as you said, there is still going to be a tiebreaker today. I'm really excited to see how that tiebreaker is going to function, because we don't know who the second and the third position are. But for now, as you saw, we have our first team who's going to be qualifying into Malaysia, as well as being the first seed in the second stage. That is none other than Marcos Gaming. Coming to the fifth seed, it is none other than, as you saw, God's Reign, and it's going to be fourth coming in from Revenant. But right now, let's go to God's Reign, the people who've just gotten their victory. Let's welcome them, ask them how they're feeling, because it has been a long due wait.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Scepter. Finally, God's Reign is back in form. It looks so good. How does it feel? Just before going out, finishing the stage 1, you denied your rivals, your main rivals, just like you did in India Open.
Yeah, it was amazing because RNT were I think the best team, but now defeating them, we believe other teams are also strong and everyone is giving the best.
Well, I think the point of Marcos that they have already qualified for the Malaysia LAN, and now that you have got the fourth seed for the fifth seed for yourself, it's going to be a long journey. So how are you actually going to unveil your strategies in the second stage?
Actually, it's pretty tough journey for us, but we will try our best and give our best to qualify Malaysia. That's it.
Yeah.
What was the missing puzzle?
Actually, at starting, we had some player issues. Vixen got replaced and we had to make coordination with our new player. So now the game is on track and we are pretty confident we will qualify in second stage.
It sounds so amazing. I'm wishing you congratulations again and wishing you all the best for the second stage, because you're going to fight Revenant to start things off itself. So we are wishing you the best and also looking forward to for you guys to qualify for the Malaysia land. Thank you so much, Scepter, for joining us. All the best.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. See, this is what, right? Like, there'll be some missing puzzle pieces. You have to work around it. It does take time, but you should never give up. As Scepter said, we were going through some changes, we made it work, and right now we are ready for it. And I look at the confidence that tells us, right? We are ready for it, and we sure will qualify from the stage 2 as well. That tells not just us, but the viewers and the fans of God's Reign that why they were the champions and why they will be doing the same thing that they did today. A 2-0 clean sweep is what we might end up expecting in their second stage first match. But for now, how do you feel? We've seen the teams which have the first seed, fourth seed and the fifth seed.
Well, right now, the things that are going in my mind for the instance, I can for sure say that definitely it's going to be a great battle coming in the tiebreaker. But on the other side, we are actually going to go for a short ad break, as we'll be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and also trainers. Right, I'm telling this because I know there are people who do not play Pokemon Unite but enjoy Pokemon in general. I want you all guys also become trainers like this and eventually become Pokemon Unite esports athletes because I look forward to it. So welcome back to Asia Champions League for the India region, and we are back today. Generally we have just 2 BO3s and we end the day, but because today is the last day of the league stage, we are back again bringing one very interesting best of one, which is because we have a tie. That is none other than SATL versus True Rippers. And Mridul, touching back to what happened in week number 4, the first match was between SATL and True Rippers, and there SATL did a clean sweep. So this might be a revenge to deny SATL the second spot and True Rippers grab it away from them. So I'm looking forward to it because it can be a revenge seeking match.
Yeah, indeed, and getting this best of one would actually book in a good slot of having a single match not left for them. Well, we are already going inside the tiebreaker screen, and yes, now that the possibility of having a tiebreaker between 3 teams is done. God's Reign actually won a match against Team Revenant. It is going to be a tiebreaker between 2 teams. That is going to be SATL going against True Rippers. Now, if 2 teams have the same match record, then there will be a tiebreaker. The first team to win the tiebreaker will win the tiebreak. So let's see who is going to be the winner and actually going to get the second seed for the stage number 2.
Now here's what I wanted to see, a 3-way tiebreaker. And again, as we explained, why it would have been interesting is team number 1, 2, 3 is the category they'll be put in, and all those scores would be based, all that positioning would have been based on their head-to-head scores, how they compared, and whichever team had a better score would have actually got a chance to play only one match and decide what their seed would be, whereas the teams who had a little lesser head-to-head score compared to the team which is better would have to fight first, and the winner would actually proceed next to fight next, and then to decide who would be the first, second, third and the fourth respective 5th seed. But for now, in your screens you can see Marcos, 4 games, 4 victories, clean and I would say menacing, a dominating flawless run. Second seed right now is still clashing between True Rippers and SATL. We will decide after this best of one. Fourth with Revenant unfortunately taking a loss. They've also had only 1 game victory, but you might be wondering why do they have 4 points. One of the matches where they lost, they played all the 3 rounds in the best of 3. That's the reason they got 1 point in that between. But in the meantime, God's Reign, yes, it has been a similar run for them. They tried their best. Even they also, in I think one of the matches that they lost, they went till all the 4 rounds, so all the 3 rounds and got 1 point, and today's victory gave them 3 points. Oh yeah, they had just 3 points, not 1 more. But right now, it's going to be a tiebreaker. It's my bad. I thought I was looking at the 4 games in total rather than the points. But you saw, you have your 1, 4 and 5 teams in terms of the seeds. SHL versus True Rippers, I'm looking forward to who's going to take it away. But what are your thoughts, Mridul, seeing these 10 men, 5 each from 2 different teams?
5 each from 2 different teams. SATL versus True Rippers. Again, True Rippers were not supposed to have a match today, but again, they will have a match today.
They'll be pulled in.
They'll be pulled in. Come back. You have a chance, my boys, to actually get that second seed slot. Yes, they were done with some good performances from their sides. 2 matches won, and actually winning a single game against Marcos on day number 2 have landed them on day number 5 to get a chance of having the second seed. So, like, just 1 single game, and now you're back to a 1 single game, actually deciding the fate for you in the stage number 2.
Look at this. In even the data in front of our screens, you can see week number 5, day number 5, you call it. No match.
No match.
But True Rippers like, why? And again, to iterate this, the second seed, as you rightly said, Mridul, was in favor of True Rippers. If SATL did not get a point today in the best of 3 that they played in match number 1, where it went all the 3 games, and they got 1 game, that was not in between, that was the first game. So 7-7 clash, this tiebreaker needs to happen. But before the tiebreaker, a funny instance as well as a nice, I would say, refresher for the viewers. Player trivia. Strongest the opponent, the better I get, is what Might says, and I've seen him. My name is All Might, but I am the diehard Goku fan. Oh! I really like this. I'm also. I mean, He says Goku. I say Gohan. I'm a crazy Gohan fan. But also, you can see why he's known as Might and why he keeps getting stronger, right? And also his Pokemon. They are menacing Pokemons. Look at that Tyranitar taking a chunk of the opponents and Urshifu going in for punches.
Well, the stronger the opponent, the better I get. So SATL Might is all set, and look at that. He's all set to have this battle. The very last best of one, which decides a lot for them in the very second stage. Now, we also need to look for True Rippers, as today they did not have a match. They have those 7 points, worked a lot throughout the very first 4 days. But now that they have landed on the day number 5, on this chance, let's get the Almighty to the ground and wait for SATL Might to win this one.
I'm not too sure if they'll be able to take down the Almighty Might, because he once, after taking a loss, I mean, you know, right? Both the Pokemons that we are seeing in front of the screens on Tyranitar, he immediately uses Ancient and then the Dark Pulse. All the opponents become slow. On the other end, you can immediately use Liquidation and then coming in the surgical strikes coming through, right?
Yeah.
Does a lot of damage, both of them. He's a menace when he tries to play that. And apart from these two Pokemons, Might has also played Buzzwole that we just saw, which has worked in the matches that I saw him out of this. But here in the first game it worked out, but then later on it did not work out because they were ready for a counter. They were able to try and deny it multiple times. So right now I'm looking forward to what can happen for SATL, but on the other end, as you were looking forward to what we are going to be seeing from True Rippers, it's going to be Devesh. He is the ranged attacker. As you can see, he plays the Ninetales as well as Gardevoir. But talking about him, he loves to watch sitcoms during the free time and loves to explore new cuisines around the world. And True Rippers Devesh does have that chance, because if he gets the second seed, he'll be one step closer, right, to go ahead to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia and explore the Malaysian cuisine if they win that matchup between the second seed and the third and fourth placed match winner. So let's hope the best for Devesh right as of now, but it's going to be crucial for their second placed fight victory. As we said, True Rippers, we waited some time because after the last week they had a big gap. Today they had no matches, and maybe I'm not too sure they were ready or not, but SATL, they played a match, right, and they've taken a loss. You know how it feels to take a loss, and SATL are like looking forward to now convert that loss to a victory. I can put that same perspective for True Rippers also, Mrudal, because True Rippers lost against SATL, but after that they had a week to re-strategize. SATL are coming out of anger now. Like, we took a loss, we need to correct that loss. Whereas on True Rippers end, they're able to reset themselves, calm themselves. So this match, where it'll swing is something that we have to wait and watch. But what are your thoughts? Do you think SATL will immediately turn this vengeance of loss to a victory?
Either it's going to be a set down or either it's going to be a setup. Both
Best
of the
one.
things right now are going to be decided in this very best of one. So without any further ado, let's actually begin with this game of SATL versus True Rippers. To answer your question, Lucifer, I'm more focused on how True Rippers comes up with a strategy now that they have been dragged into this. SATL, a good performance might be predicted from their side as they're already warmed up for the day. But True Rippers, Ego, Kyo, Devesh, Seth and Daksh, let's see, you have a chance. Get the second seed for your team.
Ban is going to be super crucial to deny whatever SATL wants to do, and SATL are very worried about Dodrio. Quick ban on that. True Rippers, Scyther. They do not want Might to play that at any cost. Even though it has been nerfed, they are still worried about it, so they are going to be denying it. But they had a chance to pick up Clefable, but they went ahead for Mew, and they did not want Devesh picking up that Mew, because yes, we did see Ninetales as well as I think one more ranged attackers, but Mew is one disastrous one. On the other hand, having Clefable available safe quickly locks it on along with Delphox for Devesh.
Well, the fight still goes on. Look at that. Devesh on the other side is having a Delphox for the team. On the left hand side, you can also see that we have Ghoul going in for a Mew. Then we have Broad going in for a Hoopa. Might goes in for a Urshifu. A Scyther being banned from the side of True Rippers, well, a good choice, but SATL, a perfect choice to actually ban a Dodrio for True Rippers. Again, a damage could have been done from their side. Kyo goes in for a Glaceon.
Urshifu was still there, so they're going to pick it up, yes. But I'm looking at the last two picks coming in from SATL. Tensai with the Snorlax, Cursed. Gardevoir. Gardevoir has been really good today, right? All the matches that we have seen Gardevoir, Marcos, previous match, God's Reign, all of them have been a victory. SATL are looking forward to converting them, especially Cursed. But Ego, he loves to play all-rounder, especially loves to play on Serena. And Ego is very confident on whatever he does. I think one of the trivias is what he did. Whenever he's very confident on playing the all-rounders. So, picking up this arena against the Urshifu, and if the Queen ascends very early compared to Might's Urshifu, it's going to cause a lot of trouble, and especially that Kyo is playing the Glaceon here. I think if that synergy works out really well, I'm not too sure if it's Delphox and Glaceon together, or Glaceon and Serena working together, whichever it is. If it comes together really well, True Rippers might be the actual ones to close it out. In case, just Ghoul and Gardevoir are unable to, Ghoul on Mew and Gardevoir on Cursed, if they are unable to find value.
Indeed, and when you actually begin with the performances right now, what we focus more on at this moment is just to be in the moment. SATL versus True Rippers. Let's go! And we begin with the tiebreaker. SATL starting off with a great pace. On the other side, you have True Rippers coming in from the bottom lane, I must say. 3 on the bottom one. Okay, we do have the Eve, the mid lane. And they're going to secure it from each of the sides. Either you talk about team SATL, they also start on a good note and they're focusing more on the evolutions. Let's go! And here you start with the very first goal coming in from the side of SATL.
Early goals are not something that I'm very excited about, but I'm looking forward to early knockouts, because that will give one team level advantage, experience advantage, and will get better. Both right now from the side of True Rippers are also looking forward to getting early scores. But in the bottom, it's going to be a 3-man hold coming through. Very soon, we are going to be seeing a 3-man push from SATL as well to defend their goal zone. Daksh is very low. Last Electro Ball coming in from the Mew, who was level 5. Puts that Slowbro on level 3 out cold and sent back to the base.
Well, we actually start with SATL True Rippers being at the perfect scores, waiting for Kubfu to be Urshifu. It's actually here. And if we talk about SATL and True Rippers at this moment, SATL looks at a great performance. Here you go. 22 points for them, and it's actually looking on the best side. The positions have been changed. You can't just be at the perfect spot where the Pokemon actually waited for. SATL, they might be getting the lead, and Tensai is getting a lot of damage. And this is where True Rippers will get a KO by the Delphox.
Ego trying to fight out, but he does not have AOS energy, so he goes in for the Citrus Berry, grabs it, but only one is what Might allows. But look at what Might has picked up. He's gone in for the Wicked Blow and Throat Chop moves coming through. He's not gone in for the water moves, he's gone in for the fighting moves, so which was nerfed. He's actually picked that up itself. I tried it out, it was not very effective, but Might is already levels better compared to his opponent, and he's level 8 compared to the Serena on just level 6, so his damage will still be more effective compared to the Serena. He got drop kick, does not work, tries another drop kick, doesn't work. His Wicked Blows and Throat Chops coming through are good. Went for a Stomp, but Might decided that let's not give him a chance to try and KO me. I'll wait it out. But right now, on the bottom and the top, it's all about the wild Pokemons. It looks like majority of the, I would say, leveling up and experience advantage in at least the wild Pokemon that spawned on the top and the bottom was gained from True Rippers.
Well. It's going to be SATL on the side of True Rippers, and here you go. The Reggie is here. Reggie is what we waited for, because again, the pace of the game changes as soon as the Reggies are going to arrive, right? Whereas if you see the side of SATL, more focus on the bottom lane, and the top lane is empty. It's all in the hands of SATUL's Urshifu to get it for the team.
Here, I feel True Rippers are overextending too much. They shouldn't have just gone for a top lane push where it's only Might holding it out and get that Regieleki for themselves, because Mew along with their Gardevoir is the one that is causing problem. The Psyshock coming through, immediate Psychic coming through, and Ghoul from the long distance using the Solar Beam coming through. These many moves, all doing, I would say, both AoE damage as well as hefty damage, is very difficult. And now Might, that understanding all the players from True Rippers are in the bottom lane, he's like, I have a free Regieleki, I'll take it. Registeel still has not been taken, it's just getting resetted one after another. Again, Solar Beam comes through, denies the players from True Rippers from getting closer, but this time Might has also teleported. Wait, actually Gardevoir teleported to the top along with Might to help it out. Ghoul was about to get caught off because Ego thought he could flank over there. Did not work out. Ego gets KO'd. Now it looks like Kyo goes down. Safe is also about to go. The Electro Ball hits him, and one after another the players from True Rippers are getting KO'd. 3 are out. There's 2 more left who are trying to buy time. Registeel is not out. Devesh might also be put down. He tries to jump up. I think he had an eject. The block did not work enough, but Might, he gets burnt with the boiling hot water and finally gets KO'd.
Here you go with that. 173 coming in for SATUL. Fully utilizing this tiebreaker, SATUL has got a big lead against True Rippers, I must say. And True Rippers getting KO'd at the most important points where they've got a KO streak, but then 3 Pokemons being sent back to the base. This is where they are losing on it. Well, at the Legendary Pet would be adding a lot of points to their evolution. But it's still SATUL on all the other sides. Yes, it's now a fight between Ego and Urshifu, but Might just go for a backslash.
Right now, True Rippers, I really like the way they played the bottom lane. Even though they understood they were getting constantly KO'd, sent back to base, they did not give up the bottom lane. Respawned, fought again back at the bottom lane, kept it going and regained the control. That's the reason you can see SATUL have not gone levels that is very high-end soaring. Yes, Urshifu is at level 11, but on the other end, Ego is also level 11 on the Serena. So it's even Steven's battle, but the Hoopa is the one that is annoying. Fireworks was used, doesn't find any value. Psychic was used coming in from the Gardevoir, it also doesn't find any value. But the second time it actually does, because Psychic and then the Psyshock came through, because of which Saif was held on to ground for some time. But he had his teammates and also he had Moon Knight to heal himself. Bottom lane fight is still ongoing here, Mridul.
Well, with that, SATUL, the bottom lane fight still goes on, but the scores have been staked. No goalposts yet
Unite!
been acquired, and the Unite comes at the perfect moment. There you go. The Urshifu will be sent back, but oh, wait for it. Gardevoir actually gets the Serena, and this is the Serena I was waiting for. Indeed, it goes down. But again, the Serena will be back. Kyo was just at the moment, being able to add 40 points, but no, has been tackled and being sent back to the base by the Snorlax. Can Cliffable had it? No, denies is what True Rippers is getting at this moment.
Wow, Tensai on that Snorlax is annoying. First on the top lane, then on the bottom lane. But right now, quickly switching back to the bottom lane fight. Oh, a steal. Ghoul on the Mew. Takes it away. Gardevoir gets a KO on the Cliffable. Doubles it down along with the Serena. That is, Ego is out. Delphox at least finds one before going. But the Slowbro is also out. A big 3. Oh, a 4 KO streak is what we end up seeing. Man, Curse has played so goddamn well. And this is why I said, seeing a Gardevoir throughout the day today has been a very effective one. Might is looking low. Players have respawned from True Rippers. They're back on the top lane. Prod is trying to annoy them. Tensai is back here. Heavy Slam. Does he use a block? Yes, he does. And his teammates are trying to counter on it. Solar Beam came a little bit very early. But Urshifu, he secures the Regieleki. There was a try from the Delphox on the Fireworks, but it was not enough. And now Tensai finds one KO. Gardevoir finds another. Devesh is out. One after another, everybody is falling. Slowbro decides to reunite and go back. But in the meantime, it's already Rayquaza. The fight going back and forth so much. We had lost track of time because SATUL look like they're commanding everything. And Rayquaza is... Oh, stolen! Kyo takes it away, runs away, gives his team a chance to close this game, but wait, his teammates are unable to score. Ouch! Regieliki! I did not see this coming. SA12 had gotten the Regieliki just before Rayquaza spawned. Because of that, the top lane, which was completely empty, Regieliki pushed their base and they got the score pushed to 400. I'm pretty sure True Rippers are feeling bad even after getting Rayquaza unable to do anything because majority of the players were respawning. It's a done deal. SA12. It works out. They close it all.
Well, the story goes on, The last 50 seconds, getting the Regieliki added as a boon for the team of SA12. But the Rayquaza shield was there. What landed wrong for True Rippers is the defense that they once again lacked in. SA12, they got the Regieliki, one of the goalposts was open, and even with a single goalpost, SA12 is being able to win this match. A chaos streak of 2 and Gardevoir is on a roll.
Yeah, Gardevoir, Curse, he's on a roll, getting multiple chaos one after another. Seth until now was healing with the Moonlight on Ego, but understanding that Ego has decided to run away, he also had to run away. A try coming in from the Glaceon does not work. He also gets KO'd, so there is no way that True Rippers are able to push back into this tiebreaker in this best of one. One last player surviving is the Delphox. Oh wait, actually it was just respawn. So all the 5 players just before time's up were KO'd. SA12, get back in. Make sure that they get one step closer to qualifying to the Malaysia LAN and they will become the 2nd seed. Cursed. Look at his performance here, Mridul. He did not score a lot, but he did score in terms of getting KOs. 9 KOs, 5 assists. Ghoul always playing with his teammates. He came in with solar beams, and when he understood the solar beam was used, quick move reset and electro ball. 4 knockouts. Tensai, I mean, hands down, because of Tensai is the reason True Rippers could not get goals scored in. If goals were scored in, True Rippers would have actually won after getting Rayquaza. Prod with 9 assists, 2 knockouts. Might, I think nobody wanted to contest Might on the top lane. He was just in control, and he's known for the top lane monster that he is.
Well, the story goes on as SA12 have now secured the 2nd seed for themselves. True Rippers will now be at the 3rd seed, and we now have the final positions. SA12 once again, a job being done. Great work with the Urshifu, I say. And today, even after some amount of nerf that was received by Urshifu and some amount of buff, Urshifu still is the king of the meta right now.
Yeah. I mean, Might to play in such a brilliant fashion to deny top lane completely for their opponent, and SA12 as a squad to play in the bottom lane. Look at the damage, 98,000 from Cursed, 106,000 from Ghoul, and Tensai, damage taken 84,000. Prod, he helped his team in recovery, 55,000. He was not a healer, but what was he doing? Hyperspace holes. A lot of value being found. On the other end, Safe, again, you can say the same. He had 117,000 in recovery, but unfortunately, his teammates were not in tandem. Safe, if he was with Ego, Kyo and Devish were unable to function together because they did not have an all-rounder or a ranged attacker like Cursed and Ghoul. Their attacks, while they were trying to hit it, there was somebody who used to come and jump in close range and put them down, and that was Tensai. He used to put up a block, smudge them to the wall, and cause problems.
Well, at last, it always looked like a clean chit win for Team SA12 when we actually see the graph. But when you talk about the amount of, performance that was put in the last 2 minutes, even after getting the Rayquaza, True Rippers lost it against Team SA12. So, it does not mean that if you have the Rayquaza, you have made a comeback. It is by the defense of SA12 and a great attack by SA12 that they have won. And Regieliki just before the Rayquaza was the game changer.
It was. If that was not there, True Rippers would have stood a chance. But again, we talk about it. Taking these Regis, either the top or the bottom, at the last nth crucial second is crucial. And it works it out. But right now, quickly talking about this goaling journey from True Rippers. This big gap, right, between 2 to 8 minutes. If this gap was closed, like, I understand. Now 274 is where we see SATUL at the 8th minute mark. But if True Rippers were at 150, right, they wouldn't have felt that pressure that, oh wait, we have to take Rayquaza and we have to immediately score. Because they had the pressure, yes, they did get Rayquaza. I mean, it was a steal, but nonetheless, they were unable to quickly score. Why? Because the teammates were not ready. Teammates were thinking we'll have a team fight, or teammates were hiding, waiting for the opportunity. Or teammates were also KO'd and sent back to the base. So there were 3 different instances that True Rippers had to deal with even after getting Rayquaza.
And yeah, the things getting repeated. Well, we are back. That SATUL were always at the lead, and it was just like the very third game that we saw between the other teams. But at last, this tiebreaker ended as a boon for Team SATUL, and what we have is SATUL at the second seed. Results coming in front of us, and once again, to define this game, it was a beauty that we saw. True Rippers were shocked out that they got this chance. And again, it was a chance that they made the whole use of. Kind of got the Rayquaza, but lost it by a single slight mistake. Okay, leaving it all apart, it was a great game. Everything which remains in the game, it's now about the stage 2 that we'll be seeing in a bit. Well, let's talk about the ranking for now. Yes, it is going to be Marcos Gaming. With all the 4 games won they have played until now, they are standing strong at the 12 points that they have and the very first seed for themselves in the Indian region after the stage 1 has ended. For the second, it's going to be SATUL with 7 points, 4 games played, 2 games won, 2 games lost. True Rippers is going to be the third seed. After this tiebreaker, we saw that they've lost. Same 7 points, 4 games played, 2 games won, 2 games lost. Revenant Esports with 4 points, 4 games played, 1 games won, 3 games lost. And God's Reign, last but not the least, at last today, in the 4th game that they played, they won it by a clean sweep against Revenant Esports.
Yeah, great game coming through. We have our seeds, but right now we'll quickly call up them the second seed, the winners of this best of 1, SATUL Might. Let's call him back to the desk and see what they have plans for. Congratulations, Might. Welcome back to the desk.
Hello.
How are you feeling? This best of 1 was not something that I'm pretty sure you were looking for, the tiebreaker. You wanted to be the first seed, but at least you're one step closer. And how are you feeling for this tiebreaker and second place?
Hey guys, I really didn't want to bring it to the tiebreaker, but yeah, unfortunately we lost against Marcos today. But yeah, we are still aiming for the rank 1 spot.
Yeah. So a simple answer by Mike that it was not what they decided. Again, True Rippers were also not ready that they would be brought in today and playing against you. So it was all about that the chances were made. But again, Marcos, they have played a great game up until now. Every game that they have played until they have won it. SATUL, what are you deciding now that you have got second seed, not the first seed? What is the chance that you're going to play against and actually be qualifying for the Malaysia land?
Well, we are 100% sure we will do that because we have only lost against 2 teams, Revenant and Marcos, and we are very confident as of now. We lost because of our mistakes basically, and we will work upon them. And yeah, I think we have a very good chance to qualify.
And one more thing before I let you guys go prepare and qualify for the Malaysia land, Might. You were a deadly Scyther player, and now we can see every team banning that so that you don't play. They don't want you at all. But you eventually in this last best of 1 picked up Urshifu. What more? We know you play a Tyranitar. We know you play a Azumarill. What more can we expect from you as you guys are preparing for the second stage?
I think I will try upon Dodrio now.
Okay.
That is going to be literally a curse. You already have Cursed who can play that. Now you playing that, they're going to cause problems. I'm going to wish you all the best, Might. Looking forward to talking to you soon in the stage too. Have fun and wishing you all the best to qualify for the LAN as well.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. See, I mean, Might is a player who can do anything and everything at this point. If he's mastered the all-rounders, he'll be quickly ready for the others. But if you want to get all the ideas about what's going to be happening next, the entire format, the entire schedule, link is right down below, because as you saw, SATL and SATL's fans, you'll be looking forward to when their matches. You'll know in the schedule, in the upcoming weeks, in the stage 2. This is the elimination bracket the teams will start off on. Mrudul, we are done with leagues stage 1. Next is league, not league, but stage 2. That's the elimination bracket, the playoff stage. What do you feel? How is it going to be?
Well, at last the players have got their seats. The players are all set with their power, and now they need to perform in the stage 2. All the best to Marcos Gaming, but they still have a single match in the stage 2. Quite excited for that. And at last we bid adieu to the day. Week 5 is over, and we see you guys in the next team.
Yeah, Mrudul.
Bye bye, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
One thing that I do want to tell our viewers, that we are looking forward to right now. There have been situations where teams have got a chance to win, but our viewers also have had a chance to win, because there have been chances that they'll be grabbing points. So I'll tell the viewers, keep grabbing those points, and you'll be able to get yourselves folders, keychains. Make sure you redeem it before you, I would say, lose a chance of it. But again, it is only for the viewers coming in from the Malaysia region, so make sure you grab it if you can. But right now, as Mrudul said, Week 5 is done, league stage is done. We'll be meeting you again in the playoff stage. Until then, take care, have a great evening, and weekend. See ya.